Welcome into the Kettleers starting on. I'm Alex Rocco. He's Jimmy Middleton. Before Game 4 between the Cotuit Kettleers and the Harwich Mariners. And Jimmy, last night it was an excellent contest for Cotuit, picking up the 10-5 victory over the Brewster Whitecaps. Although the Cotuit Kettleers scored 10 runs, it was the bullpen that really caught your eye.
Yeah, a trio of arms, Parrish, Davenport, and Duane, it's really caught my eye. You know, Brewster put up a 5 spot in the third inning, and with them, the Cats bore down and put up 6 zeros on the scoreboard, letting the offense get that lead, extend that lead to 10. So really that trio of arms, putting zeros up on the board, blanking them, keeping the Brewster bats at bay, that was the biggest piece for the win yesterday for me.
And what does it say about this Kettleer bullpen that they can come into a game after their starter, Aiden Hill, struggled, but you can put up a crazy amount of zeros?
I think it's just that they're ready for the moment. They're like, they don't really care about what spot they're in. They're like, let's give me the ball. I'll get it now. I'll get us out of this inning, and then just see what happens and they go from there.
Now today, it's Game 4 between the Harwich Mariners and the Cotuit Kettleers. A lot of runs scored in these first 3 games, 61 runs, 36 coming from the Kettleers. What are you looking forward to in today's game?
I think the Cats just got to keep the ball in the field, in the yard, keep it on the ground especially. You know, I feel like it's a broken record whenever I say that, but this Mariners team likes to hit the baseball, so making sure the ball stays in the yard, stays on the ground, and kind of getting those outs, those easy outs from short to third and everything like that, just getting those easy outs, that's going to be the biggest key for me.
And you talked about the pitching and defense playing a big factor in this game. What about the offense?
Offense just got to keep doing what they're doing, keeping the steady course, keep putting up runs. They put up 10 last night. You know, this Mariners team's a good team, a hot team, 3 games in a row that they've won. So just keep doing what they're doing and putting the pedal to the metal.
Tyler O'Neill getting the start today for Cotuit out of Bucknell. And Jimmy, what are you looking for out of the righty?
Yeah, Tyler O'Neill, I really love what he brought out last time he got a start for Cotuit. It wasn't exactly the thing he wanted to do. I only pitched 3 innings, I'm pretty sure. But Tyler O'Neill is the guy that I picked to have a good playoff performance and is going to win a playoff game later on in the season.
Should be an exciting game between the Harwich Mariners and the Cotuit Kettleers. We're just moments away from first pitch. Now we'll send it back up to the broadcast booth.
Game 34 is just moments away here on the Kettleers Digital Network. Hi, everybody, and welcome back in as Joe Pratt and Alex Rocco welcome you in for the series finale with the Harwich Mariners and the Kettleers doing battle for the 4th time this season. And the Kettleers already taking 2 games at White House Field. And the last time that Harwich was here at Lowell Park was all the way back on opening day, Alex. Amazing to think that it's already been almost an entire season since we played these guys at home.
That it has, and it's been a long time coming ever since that 13-2 loss for Cotuit back on June 15th. But ever since that game, and Cotuit obviously got off to the slow start, but in the last 2 contests against Harwich, the Bats have come alive. They scored 34 runs in those 2 contests, and it's been a high-scoring affair in all 3 games. 61 total runs that have been scored in the 3 games, so should be another exciting one here at Lowell Park.
It definitely should be, and the Kettleers coming off of a 10-5 win last night, of course, not playing on on Saturday and Sunday because of the All-Star game. And how big was that just to get back on track, especially with the offensive output we saw? It
was massive, and something that we hit on almost every game is those first 3 innings being vital to the Cotuit Kettleers' success, and it was those first 3 innings that really allowed them to come away with the 10-5 victory. They put up 6 runs in that 2nd inning, and you really saw the lineup click 1 through 9, and that's something that Mike Roberts has talked about over and over and over again this year. 1 through 9 putting quality at-bats together. Devin Taylor, Charles Davalon starting it off with a pair of walks. Matt Klein with an unselfish play laying down a bunt. And then you're getting guys like Jaron Advincula, Tyler Cerny with 2 RBI doubles. Nolan Araki getting hit 10 or Thatch. This lineup is so dangerous, but it was that 6-run 2nd inning. Then, of course, the 2 runs in the 6th and in the 7th that really just provided that cushion for the Kettleers' stout bullpen.
And it's been that offensive output, and you mentioned the 61 runs scored in this season series. So many of those coming in the first 3 innings of these ball games, so getting a hot start going to be super important as the pitching matchup. It'll be Justin Mitrovic, who's already faced the Kettleers this summer in a relief role. Tyler O'Neill will head out to the bump to make his 2nd start for the Kettleers this season. But that's going to do it for us here on the Kettleers starting 9. Now we'll send it down to field level right now for the national anthem and game 34 in just a few moments after this here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Kate Harmony. You know what that means, man. It's now time to play ball here at Lowell Park.
It's the 13-22-0 Harwich Mariners doing battle with the 21-11-1 Cotuit Kettleers here on Tuesday afternoon, as they will do battle for the fourth time so far this season. Going out to the mound for the Kettleers, Tyler O'Neill. He's getting his second start this season, hailing out of Bucknell, a right-handed pitcher. Just finished up his junior season there, and he's on to the Cape League this summer, setting up to make his second start today, and he'll be going up against this Harwich lineup managed by Steve Englert. And how will they line up against him, Alex?
Leading things off for Harwich is the right fielder Cam Maldonado. Batting second and playing beside him in the outfield is the center fielder Aiden Hill. Hitting third and playing second is Cade Curlin. Hitting in the cleanup spot and manning first base is Matt Scannell. Hitting fifth and playing DH is Lou Kamen. Batting sixth and getting the start in left field, Aiden Robbins. Batting seventh behind the dish is Macon Winslow. Hitting eighth at the hot corner is Sam McNulty, and rounding out the Harwich order is the shortstop Daniel Dickinson.
It's a pretty similar lineup to we saw the last time these two teams met, but also all the way back on opening day, where there are still a few guys on this roster who are not in this starting nine who are still on the roster this season, one being Ryan Weingartner, also Michael Anderson. Those are two guys who have combined for a lot of production against the Kettleers so far this season, but of course some newcomers who have been able to make a difference for the Mariners. We see Aiden Hill in that 2 spot and Aiden Robbins batting sixth today. Those are two newcomers that played in 2 games so far this summer. Everybody else has been here for quite some time, so it's a lot of familiarity. Some guys we saw on the Cape League last summer making their return to whether this is a new team or a team that they were at a year ago, much similarly to Matt Scannell in that 4 spot. But most importantly today, Tyler O'Neill is getting his second start. Went over 2 innings his last time out against Yarmouth Dennis. He ran into a lot of trouble there, but showed some promise. And what are you looking forward to see from him today?
Well, I'm just looking forward to seeing how Tyler O'Neill bounces back, and saw some positives in that game. He did go 2 1/3, but really just things got away from him, allowed 6 hits, but want to see him bounce back. And we talked so much in his last start about him going the distance, had a 5-5 record with a 4.89 ERA while tossing 4 complete games at Bucknell. And when Tyler O'Neill is at his best, he's punching out hitters, 71 strikeouts in 70 innings this past season at Bucknell, really improving from the season prior, his junior year to his senior season. But looking for a bounce-back start for Tyler O'Neill against this potent Harwich order that is not afraid to score runs.
Definitely not, and especially in their last 3 games. I mean, they put to rest a 1-16 stretch the other day with getting a win on Thursday night. They were able to compile that into 2 on Friday, and then a win last night at White House Field. So they won 3 in a row, and Alex, this is probably the best time that this team can get things going.
That's exactly right, and saw it last night with Brewster, them dropping the game against Cotuit. They're now 12-21-1. They're sitting in 4th place in the East Division. Harwich, their 3-game winning streak has vaulted them up to the 3rd spot in the East Division, and with the games really starting to mean more in the month of July and just about a week left in the regular season, these games are vital, and this is not a team that Cotuit should take lightly, despite their 13-22 record.
Yeah, 13-22-0. They're 3rd place in the East, right ahead of Brewster, who's 12-21-1, Orleans 12-21-0. So still a few games to be played for Orleans. Of course, the game that has been postponed 2 times will be played tomorrow between the Kettleers and Firebirds at Eldridge Park. But, of course, we got an entire 9 innings here today as the Kettleers are playing the Mariners for the final time. And Tyler O'Neill, see him out there throwing out his final warm-up pitches, as it's the first game at 4:30 this season. Of course, we were in Brewster last night for the 4 p.m. start there, so kind of got to transition into this point of the summer where we have a bit more time to get these games in.
That it is, and always good to start 30 minutes early. We've seen it a bunch of times so far this summer where games are being called in 6th, 7th, 8th innings due to darkness. So move the game up 30 minutes, and hopefully you can play a full 9 here at Lowell.
That's what they're going to be looking to do today, especially against this Harwich team who is needing wins, as you just mentioned, more than anybody else in this league, seemingly, other than Brewster and Orleans, who just fell last night to the Kettleers. Brewster did. So the Kettleers helping out Harwich a little bit, boosting them into the third spot in the East Division with that road win at Stony Brook Field last night. But with that 10-5 win, got time for another question here. Just what did you like, especially from that game, that you want to see today?
Well, it was something that Jimmy Middleton brought up pregame. It was just how dominant the Kettleers bullpen was. They handed the ball off Bryson Parrish, Mason Davenport, and Zach Duenas to close out the game, and the bullpen was electric for the Kettleers last night. And although Aiden Hunter struggled in the start, only went 2 2/3 innings, allowed 5 runs, the bullpen really picked him up and shut down the Brewster order.
Yeah, it was 5 runs for the Whitecaps in the bottom of the 3rd inning yesterday, and the Kettleers bullpen shutting them down after that to go on to win the ball game 10-5. Ended up being their 21st of the summer, and they start their quest for 22 right here with Cam Maldonado digging in. Has enjoyed a solid season series against the Kettleers so far this summer, and he will be facing Tyler O'Neill for the first time, who peers in and seemingly can't hear anything from his pitch-comm device. But this is a first, Alex, because Grant J has mainly been doing it the old-fashioned way, just with the right hand in between his legs, but now they're trying to try out that new technology.
Saw a pitch-comm delay last night with Brewster having it. Seems like they're all on the same page here. I guess it's better to have it before the game starts until after maybe the first or second pitch in the game.
Well, looks like he's all ready to go now. Maldonado digs in, and here we go. He'll miss with the first one outside, and Maldonado takes the driver's seat 1-0. On opening day, he went 1 for 3 against the Kettleers, followed that up with a 1 for 4 outing in the 4th game of the season. That was the second time these two teams met, and it was back a couple of weeks ago when the Kettleers took a 16-8 win at White House Field, as he dials one in down beneath the zone for O'Neill, and Maldonado ahead 2-0. But he went 2 for 3 in the last time these two teams met, drove in an RBI, hit a home run late in that ball game. 2-0 to Maldonado. He'll take a strike 1. First one of the day for Tyler O'Neill, and really to get ahead in these batters is something that's going to be super important for him today, but only 1 walk the last time he was out there. 30 of his 52 pitches were able to find the zone for strikes, as he is now ready with this 2-1 offering to Maldonado. 2-2 now. But Maldonado been one of the most productive guys in this Harwich lineup to this point this year. .260 hitter, 27 base knocks, that leads this team. And finding a home for himself in the leadoff spot as a 2-2 offering, flipped foul. But Steve Englert has gone to a bunch of different guys in the leadoff spot. We've seen Ryan Weingartner bat leadoff for the Mariners. We saw the newcomer to this roster, Aiden Robbins, get a couple of looks in the leadoff spot. So trying a lot of different guys there in that spot today. It'll be Maldonado, starting in his 30th game this summer for Harwich. Here's the 2-2. And it'll be a full count, the first batter that Tyler O'Neill has to face today. Maldonado, a .265 hitter in 42 starts at Northeastern this past season. That was coming off of a monster freshman campaign where he hit .351. 3-2 pitch, cut on and miss, strike 3. So a good battle by Maldonado, but it ends up being the first strikeout of the day for Tyler O'Neill. There's one gone.
It's a big first strikeout for Tyler O'Neill there, working the deep into the count against Cam Maldonado. And Maldonado, a guy who struck out a bunch of times so far this summer, 31 strikeouts and now 30 games, and it's a good start for O'Neill.
O'Neill 2 strikeouts his last time out against Yarmouth Dennis, now facing another East Division foe. And that one bounced on the ground towards Advincula. He throws to first in time to get Aiden Hill. So he gets his first start against the Kettleers, wasting no time attacking that first pitch, but it'll be a ground out and a second out of this frame. Jaron Advincula just fielding that one. It's a Northern California middle infield duo today with Timo Becerra at shortstop. Nolan Naraki plays the hot corner at third, Tanner Thatch at first, Grant J gets back behind the dish today after Matt Klein got the start yesterday, hit a multi-hit game, but they've really been the 1A, 1B behind the plate for Mike Roberts so far this season. Cade Kurland is the new batter, and he attacks the first pitch, launches that towards straightaway right center field. Davalon going back. He will let that one plop at the base of the fence. Charging towards second goes Kurland, and he'll be in there with a 2-out stand-up double.
Kurland getting a pitch that he can drive on the first offering from Tyler O'Neill there, really taking it to the deepest part of the ballpark as it hits off the base of the wall there. And big 2-out hitting for Cade Kurland as he now stands in scoring position after his 5th double.
Nice opposite field power there from Kurland, and we just saw Aiden Hill and Cade Kurland attack the first pitch, so it was 1 out, and now the first hit given up by Tyler O'Neill on the day. And here is Matt Scannell. Matt Scannell, the only position player returner left on this Harwich roster from last summer. And he watches a fastball go by for strike 1. Playing in 23 games for the Mariners a summer ago did Scannell, a 197 hitter there. 1 homer, 14 driven in, and had a more productive campaign this time around, but still likely not to the level that he would have hoped. He'll take 0-1, and now it's 0-2. So this will be the 30th game played of the season for Matt Scannell. He's batting at a 208 clip. 2 of his 22 base knocks have left the yard and has really served as a utility man for Steve Englert's Mariners this season. He's getting the start at first today. 0-2 pitch, finds the dirt, blocked by Grant J. Nice job by him to keep it in front, as that one was spiked by Tyler O'Neill, and it'll be a 1-2 count to Scannell, who has really experienced some hardships at the plate in recent games, as one of his last 14 has 1 hit in his last 6 games played. But today will be his 6th start at first base, has played mostly in the outfield. And here's the 1-2 from Tyler O'Neill. Cut on and miss, strike 3. So 2 swinging strikeouts for Tyler O'Neill in the top of the first inning. And after a double off the bat of Cade Kurland, he's able to escape this frame. So the Mariners will leave 1 runner in scoring position, still a 0-0 ball game as we send it to the home half of the first. And before then, we're going to check in a little bit earlier today with our sideline reporter, Adele Huffman, who has more. Adele, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Joe and Alex. I'm here with Grace and Nina. They're with Cape Harmony, who sang our amazing national anthem. Grace, Nina, how did Cape Harmony come to be?
So Cape Harmony was founded in 2006 by a woman from BU and a woman from Yukon when they came down to the Cape, and they were both doing music at their respective colleges and noticed that there was an all-male a cappella group on the Cape, Hyannis Sound, and there was one on the Vineyard called Vineyard Sound, and they said, what about the upper voices? And so they founded Cape Harmony, and we are so happy to be back for our 19th season as a self-run business. It is me and Nina's 2nd summer. We have new members every summer from all over the country. I'm personally from Boston. I go to Emmanuel College, and Nina is from Albuquerque, New Mexico. She goes to Vassar College in Poughkeepsie, New York. And we're so happy to be able to call this place home.
And what does being a part of Cape Harmony mean to you guys?
For me, it's really about community. We actually all live together too. We're not only coworkers, we're really too. And I think the community and being able to share something so special really takes this experience to a new level. Go ahead.
I think it's amazing to live in a place that you've never been able to live before with people all your age, especially because we're all college-age students. And so coming off your freshman year of college, you get to experience all the freedoms of college and live your own life while also working and performing for a job, which is a dream come true, and something that I won't do in my professional life. And so it's like, I want such a great community and family out of it.
Well, thank you, Grace and Nina, and we'll send it back up to the booth with you, Joe and Alex.
Thanks, Adele, and thank you to Grace and Nina, a couple of members of the Cape Cod Harmony group that sang the national anthem at today's game. They've also sang the national anthem at 2 other games earlier on this season, Alex, and always great to hear from them. And hey, I like that. After the first inning, bring Adele on, get her involved early. It's a good plan. Good start to the day.
I like it. A great interview, and they did such an awesome job singing pregame, singing the national anthem as second time we've talked to him this year, and it's been just a blast as they do an excellent job.
Yeah, we saw that pregame. They were performing on the third base grandstand, the home grandstand, for fans who were still filing in at the time, and then back out there for the national anthem. Tanner Thatch is going to lead off this bottom of the first inning for the Kettleers. It'll be his 9th straight game batting in the leadoff spot. Justin Mitrovic, here it comes. A first pitch swinging for Tanner Thatch, and he's back to 0-1. So, Alex, why don't you run through that Kettleers lineup?
Leading off for Cotuit is Tanner Thatch. Batting behind him is Easton Winfield. Hitting third, Brandon Compton. Batting fourth is Devin Taylor. Hitting fifth is Charles Davalon. Batting sixth, Jaron Advincula. Seventh is Timo Becerra. Eighth is Nolan Naraki. And rounding out the Cotuit order is Grant J.
So 6 lefties to start off Mitrovic as Tanner Thatch goes down on 3 pitches. A high fastball away gets him swinging for the first out of the bottom of the first, and Easton Winfield will dig in against Mitrovic. So Tanner Thatch, all the success that he's had in the leadoff spot, off to a tough start today. And it'll be Easton Winfield, who had a rough day at the plate a night ago, went 0 for 5, and Brewster was the only Kettleer in the starting lineup to not reach base yesterday. Mitrovic misses with the first one. But Easton Winfield is 0 for his last 11 at the plate in his last 3 games played, and 1 for his last 15. And that was after a great start for him. Batted .375 to start off his summer. Here's the 1-0. And he will fall back to 1-1 here. But Winfield, a guy who showed a lot of promise and potentially maybe going through some of the issues that we see a lot of guys go through when they first get here, making that adjustment. Winfield showing no signs of having to make that adjustment, but running into some issues in the last game or two here, and he'll take a strike 2 there.
And he hit the ball well in yesterday's game, although he was 0 for 5. Flew out 3 times, and a couple of those flyouts were hit deep to the track, and those are quality at-bats. Even though you're not getting the results, you're still putting good swings on the ball.
That's a big reason as to why he's still in the second slot today, but he'll roll this one to second, and Cade Kurland fields the second out easily. So Cade Kurland plays at second for the Mariners today. Daniel Dickinson, his middle infielder mate at shortstop. Sam McNulty the start at third. Matt Scannell starts at first base. Macon Winslow back behind the dish, receiving the balls and strikes from Justin Mitrovic. Aiden Robbins will get the start in left field. Aiden Hill in center, and Cam Maldonado in right. So here's Brandon Compton, a guy who has played just about as many games as anybody on this roster this season. This will be his 32nd game played today. He's second on the team with 33 hits. And a guy who has reached base in all of those 32 or 31 games at this point, except for 3 of them. So just 3 games have gone by where Brandon Compton has not met the first base bag. And he'll take a 2-0 advantage here. Wasn't able to reach on Friday night against Bourne, but then responded with a great day at the plate in yesterday's contest. At Brewster, he was batting in the 3 slot again, went 2 for 5 with a run scored and an RBI. Now we'll take strike 1 here. It'll be 2-1 facing Mitrovic for the first time. But Justin Mitrovic works into his 7th appearance for the Mariners so far this season, has made 1 start. And the 2-1 to Compton finds the dirt. He made 1 start against Hyannis and performed pretty well, went 4 innings, gave up an earned run in that contest, but as a reliever has posted a 5.4 ERA, has finished 4 games for the Mariners, and that's really when we saw him the first time at the beginning of this year, was more of a guy at the back of the bullpen for the Mariners, as the 3-1 offering misses everything, and Brandon Compton heads to first. So how many times have we been able to say that, Alex? Compton reaches once more.
So many times, and just another time he's reached against the Harwich Mariners. Came into today 4 for 12 with 2 walks, and Compton now reaches with his 3rd walk against this Mariner pitching staff, and just such a quality hitter, really inserting himself right into the heart of the Kettleer order.
So he gets to first. Devin Taylor, the 4th of 6 lefties to bat in this inning against Mitrovic, will take up and away. Well, Mitrovic appearing in the last game against the Kettleers, they were up in the game 5-0 when he entered into that contest. Excuse me, it was actually 5-4 at that time. as that was a tight ball game until Cotuit really pulled away in the end of that contest. But it was Mitrovic who came into the game, was trying to hold the Kettleers right where they were at 6 runs, and he, through 2 innings, gave up 4 hits, 6 runs, only 2 of them were earned. So just not helped out by his infield at all, as Devin Taylor takes a big cut at that 87-mile-an-hour sinker from Mitrovic, and it's 2-1. So he gets a chance for redemption against Cotuit today, as after Mitrovic's outing, that really put that ball game to an end, as Benzer threw after him. He gave up 5 earned, and then after that, Jake Ogden, who was their everyday third baseman at the time, had an opportunity to pitch in that ball game. So much offense being scored in the first 3 games of this season series. Who knows what we're going to get today, but Devin Taylor pushes this count to 3-2. But this is a Harwich team that has really struggled to score a lot of runs of late. The last time they scored 6+ runs in a game, Alex, the 16-8 win for the Kettleers at White House Field. That's over 8 games ago now. Of course, that game was their 8th loss in a row. Part of a 9-game losing streak. They would go on to win 1 game after that and then go on another 7-game losing streak in a stretch where they went 1-16 from the 4th of July to last Thursday. But Taylor will roll that one to second base once more, and Curlin fields that for the 3rd out of this bottom of the 1st inning. So both teams, it'll put a runner on base in the 1st. Nobody brings anybody home, and it's a 0-0 ball game as we go to the 2nd on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Top of the 2nd inning, Tyler O'Neill is back out there for the Kettleers, starting his 2nd inning of work. Faced 4 batters in the top of the 1st inning. Cam Maldonado, Aiden Hill, they both started off the frame, 2 outs, a strikeout and a ground out, and he finished off the frame by striking out Matt Scannell after giving up a double to Cade Curlin, and the Kettleers able to put 1 base runner on of their own. Basically the same exact inning, as there was a strikeout, a ground out to second to start off both frames, and then a base runner, and then the 3rd out. So it'll be the 5th batter in the lineup, Luke Heyman, who ticks 1 foul. Luke Heyman making the return to the Cape League this summer after playing for the Falmouth Commodores a year ago. He'll be the first to face O'Neill in this 2nd. Aiden Robbins after him, making Winslow in the 7th spot. But Tyler O'Neill just looking to be efficient and get through the first few innings in this start, as the 0-1 offering misses low and away. But he's someone, as we were talking about last inning, Alex, who ran into a lot of issues his last time out early on in that ball game, and a big reason for that was maybe not so much as what we've seen from other Kettleers starters at this point this season. It wasn't too many walks. It wasn't that he was hitting a lot of batters. 6 hits given up, though. That one popped up down the right field line and foul, so he's ahead in the count 1-2 here on Luke Heyman. But for Tyler O'Neill to return in his 2nd start to get through that 1st inning unscathed is really important.
That it is, because it allows Tyler O'Neill to get comfortable out on the mound, get into a rhythm, and working with runners in scoring position, did a good job of getting the strikeout of Scannell. Trying to continue that momentum here in the second inning.
The 2-2 to Luke Heyman. Breaking ball, tapped foul just to the left of the mound, and O'Neill's throw is in time there to get him at first to start off this second frame.
Nice job by O'Neill to induce some weak contact off the bat of Luke Heyman. And O'Neill fielding his position well, making the throw in plenty of time to nab Heyman for the first out.
So the new batter is Aiden Robbins, a newcomer to this Harwich lineup. This will be his third start so far this summer. Nolan Araki playing up at third, and he fights that one off over at Vincula. That'll find the alleyway in right center. So a one-out base knock for Aiden Robbins. That's his fifth already of the summer and his ninth at bat.
Robbins has been on a tear since joining this Harwich squad and fighting off a pitch on the inside part of the plate, right in on his hands, just a jam shot that he bloops into right field, and he'll take the hit no matter what, and just a guy that's always been on base so far through his first 3 games.
Yeah, 3 RBIs through his first 2 games. Check on him there, and they didn't have him. Tyler O'Neill nearly picking him off at first, but Aiden Robbins back in safely. That's also something that he's looking for, though, a guy who can and will steal some bases. Doesn't have one yet this summer, though. The new batter is Macon Winslow. He gets his second start against the Kettleers this summer. And it's really been a carousel behind the dish so far this year for the Mariners. Macon Winslow splitting some time with the other guys we've seen play catch, Luke Heyman being one of them. He's DH today. Wilson Weber is also a new addition to this roster. Hasn't appeared against Cotuit so far, but has been in there for the Mariners. But Macon Winslow, this will be his 22nd game played this summer. Has been solid behind the dish, but at the plate looking to improve with a 189 clip. But he pops this one up towards Nolan Araki. Into the shadows he goes. Down the line, he'll have the second out.
That was a tougher play than it might have seemed. Just a high pop-up. Naraki going into the shadows, battling the sun, making the grab for a crucial second out. And this is the response that you want to see from Tyler O'Neill. Of course, allowed the one-out single to Aiden Robbins, but pitching with runners on base and just inducing weak contact, and definitely a couple of positives that we've seen so far for O'Neill.
Another close pickoff move at first. Sam McNulty is the new batter, getting the start at third base today. But Tyler O'Neill, just coming off of his third season at Bucknell, is a rising senior. 4.89 ERA there this past season as Jays throw down to second, and they got him. Aiden Robbins looking to snag a bag in this second inning. But Grant Jay says no way, and that puts an end to the top of the second inning. Still 0-0 here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Operating on Cape Cod since 1988, Advanced Embroidery has garnered national awards in embroidery and screen printing. They offer screenings on golf shirts, Oxford shirts, jackets, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and bags. Advanced Embroidery will print your company's or team's logos anywhere. Thousands of satisfied customers can attest for Advanced Embroidery's attentive customer service, tight quality control, and quick turnaround time. They're open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday on 38 Plant Road in Hyannis.
Beacon Gardens is a full-service garden center right here in Mashpee. They sell a variety of landscaping materials and seasonal produce to both consumers and landscaping professionals around the Barnstable Village. Stop by and see all Beacon Gardens has to offer at 182 West Barnstable Road in Austerville.
The Kettleers baseball clinics are well underway in the summer of 2024, offering boys and girls ages 6 through 17 with the opportunity to learn from some of the most experienced coaches and some of the top college baseball players in the country. With no prior baseball experience necessary, the camps teach kids the fundamentals of baseball, as well as good citizenship, sportsmanship, and character. With just a few weeks of camp left, time is running out. So to sign up, head over to info.collegebaseballcamps.com/CK. Again, that's info.collegebaseballcamps.com/CK. We hope to see you there.
Operating on Cape Cod.
Charles Davalon will be the first batter to face Justin Mitrovic in the bottom of the second inning. Davalon, Advincula, and Timo Becerra in the heart of this batting lineup today. Davalon earning another spot in the starting role after a great day at the plate a night ago in Brewster. Was batting in the same spot, and he went 2 for 4. A pair of RBIs, a double, single, walked, and scored a run. Putting the ball in play is something that Davalon has just done so well this summer. A guy who continues to improve upon his batting average is now hitting .273 going into this ball game, is 8 for 23 in his last 7 starts. So nearly a .350 hitter when he's been given an opportunity as a starter in the last 2 weeks. Back-to-back starts for him today. And he gets a piece of that one, rolls it towards the on-deck circle of Harwich to bring the count to 1-2. But Charles Davalon, a guy who hails from Montreal, Quebec, but attended high school at the TNXL Academy down in Altamonte Springs, Florida, and then stayed down in Florida to play his first season of college ball at Florida Gulf Coast. Played 56 games there this past season, a .290 hitter, and was later named to the All-Atlantic Sun Conference freshman team. Taking his talents from FGCU to Arkansas this upcoming season as that pitch is behind him to bring this count full. Davalon coming to that conclusion after hearing from a lot of different schools from the Big 12, SEC, ACC, really wanting him to come in and be their starting center fielder as he pushes this one to first base, and it's flipped by Mitrovic onto first in time to get him there. So a bang-bang play at first, but that will hold up as the first out of this second frame.
It's good to see Charles Davalon reinsert himself back in the lineup. You mentioned his stats in the last 7 starts, but really isn't a guy that has played consecutive games. His last back-to-back starts came earlier in the month on July 9th and 10th. So good to see Davalon, of course, had a pair of clutch RBIs yesterday for Cotuit, right back in the middle of the lineup.
And here's a guy who has been in the lineup in all but 2 games, Jaron Advincula. Flings one foul, and after going 0 for 1 in the All-Star game on Saturday night, responded last night with a 2-hit ball game. Was 2 for 2 in his first 2 plate appearances and really wasted no time at the plate attacking the first pitch in that ball game. Luke Goff threw to him with 2 runners in scoring position, and he brought them both home. And swinging at the first pitch was something that was really popular for the Kettleers bats last night. Matt Klein also did it with an opportunity to drive in a few runs, and he was also able to. 1-1 offering to Advincula is popped up towards the home grandstand. Fans trying to make a play, but it'll meet the seats. But Shane Patagnan, one of the writers for the Kettleers, asked Mike Roberts after the game last night about their approach, being aggressive at the plate, and if that's something that was different coming out of the All-Star break as Advincula stays alive here. He says the guys swing on their own. He says he never tells them to swing the bat or when to swing the bat in the count. They can walk, they can deal with at-bats just as they do when they're at school. But he just says the bottom line is he likes him to swing the bat. And that's what they've been doing as the 1-2 pitch to Advincula. Misses down low. Count evens up at 2-2. But this is likely the most aggressive guy at the plate we've seen on this roster.
Absolutely. It always feels like Jaron Advincula, if he gets a pitch that he knows he can hit, he'll swing right away.
There's another one there.
That just makes him such a dangerous hitter. He's a guy who doesn't strike out often, just 5 strikeouts so far through 105 at-bats this summer. Has walked 10 times, and he's always going to put a ball in play, and with his speed, it's a real challenge for the infield, especially if it's a ball on the ground there. You're going to have to speed up your process to try and cut him down.
2-2. Also a great eye as well as he displays it right there, and pushes this count to 3-2, but we talk so much about the duo of Brandon Compton and Devin Taylor. Could see a decent duo brewing between Charles Davalon and Jaron Advincula. How important is that to have them at this part of the lineup? But Advincula skies this one to right field. Going back on it, Maldonado, and there it goes. Well, Alex, he's led this CCBL in batting average all season, but the first time we've been able to say this, Jaron Advincula has gone deep.
Boy, that has to feel good for Jaron Advincula. A big smile as he crosses home plate and a big celebration up there with Nolan Araki. And that has to feel good for Jaron Advincula, working deep in the count. Got a pitch right over the heart of the plate and then crushes it to deep right field as the festivities are continuing to go on in the third base dugout for the Kettleers. But just an absolute crush job for Jaron Advincula.
Had to wait until the 8th pitch of the at-bat to get it. Becerra pops that one up, straight back behind home plate. That has to be the loudest, most electric reaction we've seen from the dugout all year.
I think the only play that rivals it was when Will Thompson fielded the ground ball.
Okay, second loudest. Becerra now down 0-2.
But that just shows you the amount of love and respect that the Kettleers have for a guy like Jaron Advincula, who comes to play every single day, always has a smile on his face, and see him finally launch a ball out of here has to be a good feeling.
Sarah pops this one up towards Cade Curlin. Actually, Matt Scannell at first base, and he has it behind the bag for the second out. 5 home runs for Jaron Advincula at Cal this past season.
He let out a big fist bump when he was rounding second to third, and just a smile on his face there, showing some intensity from Advincula. Also with a great celebration with the man up at the dish, Nolan Araki.
And Nolan Araki, a great day at the plate last night, 3 RBIs. Being productive in each of his plate appearances, rather. Reached on an error in the second inning, came around to score, and then finished off the game with a 2 RBI double and a walk. 1-0 pitch. Gets all of that one. Roped down the left field line. That'll sink in. Naraki charging for second. Will actually put the brakes on behind first as the throw comes in from Robbins. And it's a 2-out single for Nolan Naraki.
And Naraki's really starting to heat up at the dish, and we've seen him go through a lot of streaks so far this summer, but had his batting average all the way up to 267 after his 2-for-3 day last night, and just got a pitch that he could see there and dunked it into left field for another base knock.
So he reaches base in back-to-back starts. First pitch to Grant J, taken for strike 1. So Grant J gets his first start in a ball game since Friday night against Bourne. Batted 9th in the order, went 0-for-3 with a pair of Ks. 1-1 offering misses upstairs. Was also 0-for-3 in the game before that and is looking for his first base hit since last Sunday's game against Yarmouth Dennis. He went 1-for-3 in that ball game. Before that, his last hit was a home run at Harwich a couple of Fridays ago. Now he takes one down low there. Didn't quite like the call, but it makes it a 2-2 count. So Grant J is looking for his first hit in over a week as Nolan Naraki takes his lead from first. And the 2-2 pitch for Mitrovic is a broken bat, flared towards short, and Dickinson makes the grab for the third out of the bottom of the second. So Justin Mitrovic is able to escape this frame, but not before allowing the first home run of the summer to Jaron Advincula, who puts the Kettleers on top 1-0 through 2 innings here from Lowell Park. Bortolotti Construction is your go-to provider for all excavation, drainage, and waterworks services. On top of that, they offer landscape filling materials such as sand, native stone, gravel, shells, and more. Serving Cape Cod and the islands for 30 years, Bortolotti Construction is committed to serving its community. Visit at 45 Industry Road in Marston's Mills or call 508-771-9399.
Coastal Rentals is the place to go for professional landscape and construction equipment. Whether you need tools and equipment for commercial use or for your own projects, Coastal Rentals has what you need. Purchasing gear is also available. Check out Coastal Rentals today.
Cotuit Library. Since its founding in 1874, the Cotuit Library has served its community with an expansive collection that continues to grow. Their staff is dedicated to serving all ages, offering youth events weekly. The library has dozens of events scheduled throughout the summer, so be sure to head to the website at cotuitlibrary.org to see what's coming up next. The library is located right off Main Street. The Cotuit Library, a proud sponsor of the Kettleers.
Be a part of historic Lowell Park and support the Cotuit Kettleers by purchasing a paver engraved with your personal message to be placed in the new Walk of Champions. For more information, visit the Cotuit Kettleers website. Bortolotti Construction is... Tyler O'Neill heads out there with a newfound 1-0 lead in the top of the third inning. He'll face Sam McNulty, Danny Dickinson, and then Cam Maldonado. 8-9-1 in this Mariners lineup. And Alex, that was awesome last inning. Jaron Advincula's first homer.
That it was. It went 391 feet, 91 miles an hour off the bat, and just to see the eruption of noise from the Kettleer dugout, just such a cool moment to see.
I mean, last night we thought we could have had the first one in Brewster, put one to deep right center field. Wasn't enough to get out of the ballpark, but it was enough to give the Kettleers an initial 2-0 advantage, and he puts them out in front first in this one here today in back-to-back contests, as the first pitch is down and inside to Sam McNulty. He did face Tyler O'Neill for a couple of pitches to end the second inning, before Aiden Robbins was cut down at second on a perfectly placed throw from Grant J behind the dish. So McNulty will stay out there and start off the third. The 1-0 pitch is off the end of the bat over Tanner Thatch and into right field. So the first leadoff man to reach today for the Mariners is Sam McNulty. 1 for 1 with a single.
Harwich now has a hit in all 3 innings so far against Tyler O'Neill, as McNulty not wasting too much time. Got the second pitch of the at-bat right down the heart of the plate and goes the opposite way, dunking it right in front of Devin Taylor in right field.
So here's Danny Dickinson batting in the 9 spot today, one of the quite a few Harwich Mariners who are still on this roster from the start of the summer, as this is a team that has gone through a bit less turnover than we've seen from other CCBL teams, and Danny Dickinson is one of those guys who has been here the whole way. Went 1 for 4 against the Kettleers on opening day, and he'll take a strike 1 here. Overall is 2 for 11 against Cotuit this summer. A run scored, an RBI, and a walk, but the last time these two teams met, he struggled and went 0 for 4. But it's been a frustrating campaign for Danny Dickinson, who came into this summer with a lot of hype, was positioned to be one of the top players on this Harwich roster. Was D1 Baseball's in perfect games top WAC 2025 draft prospect for the draft in a couple of years. And someone this past season at school who played in 59 games, he hit .363. 90 hits led the conference, 73 runs scored, that also led the conference. And now he takes a cut and miss at a 1-1 breaking ball from Tyler O'Neill to bring this count to 1-2. But that was coming off of a 2023 season where he had the 5th highest batting average in the WAC, 376 clip. So just a guy who's been productive seemingly everywhere he's gone. As he rockets this one towards left center field, Charles Davalon sets camp under it. Pulls that down for the first out, so Danny Dickinson's tough stretch continues, and he's the first out of this top of the third.
Dickinson's really struggled, especially against Cotuit this season. Now 2 for 12 after that fly out to Charles Davalon in left center field. But just like you were saying, Joe, such a talented hitter at the collegiate level, has just struggled to put it all together here this summer.
Check back at first again at Sam McNulty. Dives back in there safely. Cam Maldonado, another guy who has experienced the highs and lows of college and summer ball so far this summer. Hit the most home runs by a rookie in Northeastern history, as that one is off the ankle of the first base ump. Hey, that's a good attitude to have about it. An emphatic foul call, probably in some frustration, probably in some pain.
That ball was scorched off the bat of Cam Maldonado. Mickey Garcia just trying to get out of the way of that. Made a leaping attempt there, but still got him right around the foot. But always like to see having that positive attitude with the emphatic foul call, and good to see he's okay, because that ball was shot right down the right field line.
He's talking with the first base coach for Harwich, pointing to his wrist, but that one hit him in the foot, right?
I'm 95% sure that hit him in the foot.
I'll take your 95% sure. I think it was. I don't know why he was pointing at his wrist, but luckily Mickey Garcia is okay. And the 0-1 pitch to Maldonado misses away. So as we were saying there, had 13 home runs as a freshman at Northeastern. That broke the rookie record for the Huskies. And the record was 8 set in 2012, so just incredible. He shattered that record. Has hit 4 this summer for the Mariners, and he's back in this count to 1-2. But an incredibly productive freshman year at Northeastern, was a college baseball freshman All-American, CAA Rookie of the Year, ECAC Rookie of the Year, and part of the All-CAA first-teamer as a freshman. And he takes that one down low. 2-2 the count to Cam Maldonado, who struck out swinging his last time up against Tyler O'Neill. Has become an everyday man in right field for Steve Englert. Here's the 2-2 to Maldonado. He'll take outside. Jay's back pick to first is not in time.
Aggressive move from Grand Jay behind the dish, making a nice stop on the pick and trying to catch Sam McNulty sleeping off the first base bag.
Something that you like to see from Cotuit Kettleers, not something that they've attempted too much this year, as that one's in off the hands of Maldonado, laced towards center field, and it sinks in. So Maldonado reaches to improve to 1 for 2. And they'll have runners on first and second for Aiden Hill.
Maldonado fighting off a tough pitch that was on the inside corner, just flaring that and dunking it down in a short center field. The shortstop, Timo Becerra, gave that ball a run, but it just fell over his grasp. So 2 hits so far in this inning, and now this is a big spot for Harwich after surrendering the game's first run. They have a chance to answer back here in the top of the third.
Yeah, big opportunity here for Aiden Hill, who takes upstairs, called strike 1. Grounded out to second base his last time up. But looking at this season series, Alex, there's been so much production in a lot of different areas of the game. We saw the last time Cotuit piling on the runs late in the contest, but 2 games ago with that 18-4 win, plenty of runs in the first 6 innings of that ball game, as 40% of the runs in this season series have been scored in the first 3 innings of these ball games.
And there's been a lot of big innings going all the way back to the first time these two teams played here on opening day. Harwich scored 8 runs in the top of the second. Cotuit, of course, had an 8-run inning the first time they played in Harwich. That game was just crazy, littered with offense. Cotuit scored 5 runs in the second, 5 in the third, and then 8 in the fourth. So the Kettleers offense really coming to play in those 3 innings.
That one hit hard on the ground towards Advincula. Taylor made for 2. Flips to second to Becerra. His throw to first is in time. So just as the Mariners were threatening with 2 runners on base, with 1 gone, a chance to tie up this ball game. The Kettleers stay in front 1-0 as we go to the home half of the third on the Ketts Digital Network.
Cape Cod Coffee is a proud sponsor of the Cotuit Kettleers. They offer breakfast and lunch, as well as indoor and outdoor dining. Check out Cape Cod Coffee at one of their 3 locations, on Route 130, at Mashpee Commons, and at Wareham Commons, or on their website at capecodcoffee.com.
When the unexpected happens, make sure you and your assets are insured appropriately. The agents at Leonard Insurance Agency can tailor coverage to meet your needs. Call 508-428-6921 to talk to their licensed agents today. For nearly 2 decades, Coastal Irrigation has proudly provided top-notch irrigation and landscape lighting services across Cape Cod. Starting with just a handful of customers in Cotuit, they now serve nearly all of the Cape. Upgrade your lawn care with their modern irrigation systems. No more dragging around hoses or worrying about watering while you're away. Their systems ensure your grass stays healthy and green effortlessly. Transform your home with Coastal Irrigation's landscape lighting services. Enhance your outdoor gatherings, improve safety, and boost curb appeal with their affordable, low-voltage lighting solutions. Illuminate your walkways and highlight architectural details to make your home shine. Contact Coastal Irrigation at 508-428-1529 or info@coastalirrigation.net. Have a look at the Kettleers dugout right there. Danny Crossan at the end of the dugout there. Looks like they're talking with Grant Jay. Timo Becerra in there as well. Nolan Naraki, and a pair of guys, a trio of guys who have helped this team to clinch playoffs, the second team in the CCBL to do so.
Came after the 10-5 victory last night in Brewster.
Thatch flies that one towards center field, and Aiden Hill fields the first out.
It's always a good moment to clinch, especially for Cotuit. They've been at the top of the West Division standings for a little bit now. Of course, have some work to do to clinch the #1 overall seed in the West Division, with a lot of crucial divisional games coming up later in the month of July, but always good to mark your spot in the playoffs.
Line drive to McNulty, and he snags it for the second out. Geez, you look down at the scorebook, there are already 2 outs in this inning. Fly out to straightaway center, and now the line drive of Winfield, and there are 2 gone for Brandon Compton.
2 pitches, 2 outs. Can't be more efficient than that. Is bullet line to Sam McNulty at third, who elevates for the second out.
Now it's Brandon Compton, who walked his first time up, takes outside. Yeah, the second team to do so in this league so far. YD doing it last week, and maybe a bit of an easier road for them as the team that's second in the East Division, 16-18-0. That's Chatham. So this is a lot of changes going on at the bottom of that East Division, as the West Division has really been the same until last night. So the teams at the top since the Kettleers took first place hadn't changed at all until Hyannis won last night to improve to 20-13-1. Wareham lost to fall back to 20-14-1. So Hyannis at second, Wareham at third. And Falmouth, it really seems like they're going to have to run the table if they want any sort of looks at the playoffs this summer. Compton fouls that straight back, and the count will be 2-2 to him. He's facing Mitrovic for the second time. But Mitrovic has been a guy who has worked through a couple of games so far this season, mostly as a reliever for Harwich, but has mainly been a starter throughout his college career at Elon. 5.06 ERA there this past season. 14 games, all of those were starts through an exactly 80 innings. Gave up 45 earned runs and struck out 96 batters. So a large sample size through 2 games, or excuse me, through 2 seasons for Justin Mitrovic with the Elon Phoenix, as the 3-2 offering to Compton is popped up down the third base line, and that will twist over the snack shack into the trees. Another good crowd on hand today. Fans in their lawn chairs all the way down to the left field corner, it looks like, some in the outfield. But of course that home grandstand on the third base side packed as always. The 3-2 once more to Compton, misses away, and he gets pitched around for the second straight time. Reaches first. Back-to-back walks for Brandon Compton.
Nice job by Brandon Compton, not expanding his zone there. Saw a lot of pitches from Mitrovic on the outside portion of the plate. Compton wisely laying off and works his second consecutive walk.
Here's Devin Taylor, who going into today had a .924 OPS. And with a couple of more plate appearances and owning a greater percentage of the team's at-bats, which is what qualifies you for those positions, he would be 4th in that category. So a guy who has just been finding a way to be productive in any way that he can as the 0-1 pitch misses low and inside. Brandon Compton back to first. Big shift on the right side of this infield to the pull side for Devin Taylor. Daniel Dickinson, you can see him playing right behind the second base bag. So a massive hole on the left side of the infield. You think that's likely to just patch up that side if Taylor wants to lay down a bunt, but that play likely put in the back pocket now with 2 strikes.
Could be, or also to have a guy closer to the bag if Brandon Compton tries to steal second. Heads up base running, try and advance 90 feet up to third. If you have the third baseman playing near the bag, makes that play a lot tougher.
Taylor chops it just in front of the mound. Mitrovich's toss is in time there to get him for the third out of this bottom of the third. So Brandon Compton is able to reach. He's the only one to reach for the Kets in the bottom of the third, but they go 3 up, 3 down other than that, and it's still a 1-0 advantage for Cotuit as we go to the 4th.
When you need to be seen for a minor illness or injury, Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care is here for you with high-quality, full-service walk-in care. ER expertise meets urgent care convenience at our 6 urgent care centers, which are staffed by board-certified ER providers and located Cape-wide from Falmouth to Orleans. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care is open daily and offers a cost-saving option for everything from sprains to stitches, with timely treatment in under an hour for most patients. View online wait times at capecodhealth.org/urgent care. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care. Minor emergencies, major attention.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Another great crowd on hand at Lowell Park as their opportunities are dwindling to come to some home games, but they're hoping to cheer on their Kettleers, who have already clinched playoffs, as we mentioned, and Adele will have more on that at the end of this inning. But still a chance to get the first place spot in the West Division, and that would guarantee home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And, of course, with that one-game elimination series, that's going to be super important. You definitely want to play that game at home, but maybe not, because the Kettleers, the way that they've been so effective away from their home ballpark, they're 12-4-1. What would you rather have?
I think for being home in the playoffs, it just means more. You have your home fans, you have your routine. But for Cotuit this year, like you mentioned, Joe, they played so well on the road. But me personally, if I have the opportunity to play a playoff game at home, I'm going to take it.
Especially with, you know it's going to be a packed house again, going to be a great crowd. Really, really difficult thing to do, to go into enemy territory and play spoiler party. And so the Kettleers are going to try to continue to do what they've done this season, which is make the home crowd happy, as that one's chopped towards Nolan Naraki. It evades his glove and goes down the line. So it's a fair ball, says the third base ump, Joshua Garcia. Thinking about going to second was Cade Curlin, but he'll put the brakes on there and improve to 2 for 2 today, now with a double and a single.
And Curlin just putting a ball in play, hitting a high chopper down the line over there at third base. Nolan Naraki usually fielding that play, got near that ball, but it evades his glove and goes right down the left field line, as Cade Curlin really having a productive day early on.
That's really been what he's been doing throughout his college career, Cade Curlin. Takes the lead at first for Matt Scannell. He takes outside for strike one. Curlin on the preseason SEC first team this year, but went on to hit .245 and had a great start to the season, but just couldn't figure things out in the second half. But was incredibly productive as a freshman. I'll check on him there at first. Pops back on the bag, and it's an 0-1 count to Matt Scannell, who, as mentioned his last time up, was a returner to this Harwich roster this summer. This is 30th game played, but just finished up his undergraduate years at Princeton. And he'll be headed to Wake Forest next year. But in his summer before coming up to the Cape League for the first time, it really wasn't his first taste of summer ball at all. Before the CCBL, had already played in 114 games of summer ball, did Scannell. 111 in the Northwoods League, played for Green Bay and Madison, and now he flips this one towards the left field line. Brandon Compton was shifted in that direction, and he'll pull down the first out. But Matt Scannell, the most experienced guy far and away on this roster, and that's a big reason to, even despite the production, you want to keep him on this roster.
And just having a guy who's played that much summer baseball, of course, coming out off of your collegiate seasons, but for a guy like Scannell, he has that. I guess what I'm trying to say is he knows what he's doing. He's played a lot of summer baseball games, and for even young players on this team, you could rely on a guy like Matt Scannell, who's been there, done that, and had success in his summer ball careers.
Also someone who comes from a baseball background as well. His father, Tim Scannell, was actually a college baseball coach and still is, but coached here for the Kettleers one summer in the summer of 1999. As that ball gets away from Grant J, and Cade Kurland advances on to second base. The batter is Luke Heyman. He's ahead 1-0. But Matt Scannell's father, Tim Scannell, attended Northeastern University, went on to get some coaching positions at UMass and across a couple other programs before making his way to Cotuit in the summer of '99, serving as the hitting coach on that staff. And Kettleers won the championship that season, so he has a Cape League ring of his own. Coaching names like Chase Utley, who was the MVP of that season that year. But needless to say, Matt Scannell bringing a ton of experience to this roster, and a guy who has experienced so much in his young baseball career, but his undergraduate years coming to a close, and he'll hit the road down south to Wake Forest this upcoming season. As Luke Heyman will take a strike one right there. It's 2-1 to him. Also a guy who plays down south in the SEC, part of the Gators team that went to the College World Series for the second straight season this year. He'll take Lowen away and has a 3-1 advantage. Batted .246 at Florida, but he played in 66 games. A guy who was mainly in there as a defensive sub, played 34 games at catcher, 20 games at first, and had a lot of spurts of really solid baseball, did Luke Heyman. Here's the 3-1 to him. Gets a piece of it, rolls it off the end of his bat towards Advincula. His throw to first is in time, but still a quality at bat for Heyman as Kurland advances to 90 feet away.
O'Neill just throwing a pitch right on the inside part of the plate to Heyman, who dribbles it slowly to Jaron Advincula over there at second base. But just like you said, Joe, a productive at bat, moving Cade Kurland up to just 90 feet away. And if Aiden Robbins, who's been such a dangerous hitter early on in his Harwich career, can notch another base hit, this game could be tied up at 1 apiece.
Yeah, Aiden Robbins 1 for 1 already with a single. Attacking the first pitch he sees, it was a 79-mile-an-hour slider from O'Neill. Yeah, Aiden Robbins now 5 for his last 9 at the plate, this being his 3rd start this summer. Already driven in 3, scored a pair of runs, and a chance with 2 gone in this frame here. Tyler O'Neill trying to complete his 4th inning of work. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball on a broken bat sent towards Advincula. He leaps, it's just out of his reach. Sinks in front of Devin Taylor as 1 run comes in to score. It'll be an RBI single for Aiden Robbins, who continues to be productive for these Harwich Mariners, knotting up this ball game at 1-1.
Robbins now 6 for 10 through 3 games so far this summer. Not trying to do too much. Got a pitch located on the outside part of the plate. Goes the opposite way. His bat shatters, and it dunks down for an RBI single to even the score at 1.
Solid piece of hitting there from Robbins, who improves to 2 for 2. Pair of singles, and Macon Winslow swings through a low fastball, is back in the count 0-1. Macon Winslow just finished up his freshman season at Duke. 250 hitter there and 40 starts, made 30 appearances at the plate. But a guy who was inserted as a defensive sub behind the dish at a lot of times and goes back to 0-2 here. But bringing a very strong high school campaign into his first year at Duke. And he attended the same high school as Kettleer Tanner Thatch, who stands over at first base. Down in North Carolina, Perquimans High School. 0-2 pitch, rolled foul. And a pretty cool high school career that Mason Winslow got to experience. He was able to win a gold medal as a part of an under-18 Team USA team who defeated Panama 11-1 in the World Cup qualifier. Games being played down in La Paz, Mexico. And on National Signing Day, Macon Winslow, along with his 4 USA high school teammates, were down in Mexico during signing day. And so they all made their D1 commitments from Cabo. That's not bad.
I'd definitely take signing to Duke University in Cabo. Can't ask for much better than that.
Ball kicks away from Grant J, and Robbins will be in scoring position. Yeah, not only are you able to win the game, win the qualifier title, but you also get to sign for your next 4 years of college after doing that.
And you're also representing your country in Cabo. It's just such a cool moment, and definitely something that Winslow will have with him for the rest of his life.
Was the number 8 overall prospect going to the ACC out of high school, but still trying to work himself into an everyday slot for Duke. I'll try to do that after becoming a guy who has been in and out of the lineup for Harwich this summer. Has played in 22 games now. 0 for 1 so far today, and a 189 hitter going into this contest. 9 driven in, and a chance to do more of that here as that one is rocketed down the left field line. That is a fair ball as it goes down towards the corner. Coming in to score from second is Robbins. On to second base goes Winslow. The throw there is not in time. So an RBI double for Macon Winslow, his 10th RBIs of the summer, and just like that, the Mariners take a 2-1 lead.
The 2-out hitting for Harwich coming alive here in the 4th inning. Macon Winslow got a pitch that he could drive, didn't waste any time, rocketing that right down the third base line and picking up the RBI double, and that has to feel good for him. Just mentioned that he's been in and out of the lineup for this Harwich squad. Picks up his 10th RBI this year and just his 2nd double.
Yeah, just the 4th extra base hit of the summer for Macon Winslow. And Mike Roberts is out to the bump. Talk things over with the entirety of his infield. We'll see if he's hitting the bullpen for the first time today. It looks like he is. So Tyler O'Neill is unable to escape the 4th inning. He goes 3 2/3 in his 2nd start for the Kettleers. And currently trailing 2-1 in the midst of this 4th inning. So a new arm enters into the game for the Ketts. I'll let you know who it is when we return on the Ketts Digital Network.
Since 1980, the O'Rourke family has been catering Cape Cod clam bakes, making your events delicious and memorable. Founded by Jake O'Rourke, Jake's Clam Bakes has become a beloved tradition, now carried on by his son, Dan. Choose from our menu options, and on the day of your clam bake, their crew will come to your site and steam a fresh, mouth-watering clam bake just for you. It's that easy. Call us at 833-252-6285 or visit our new takeout location at Building 6 on 3821 Route 28 in Marston's Mills. Email us at dan@jakesclambakes.com with your event details, number of guests, date, time, location, and any special requests like a raw bar, homemade desserts, or kids menu. Not catering? Try their takeout menu featuring lobster rolls, smash burgers, salads, sandwiches, and a smoothie bar. Jake's Clam Bakes, making Cape Cod gatherings unforgettable.
With 30-plus years of personal injury litigation and insurance negotiation experience, Snow Law Firm is your go-to for wrongful injuries and rightful compensation. Snow Law Firm will secure the maximum amount of compensation available through settlement or trial. Schedule a free case evaluation by calling 508-477-7100.
Since night.
Now pitching.
Max Hansman is the new pitcher in for the Kettleers, making his Cotuit debut this season. First time we see him, and he hails out of the University of Evansville. Just finished his sophomore season there, had a 6.1 ERA and 26 appearances, and that was a historic season for the Purple Aces, who went all the way to the Super Regional and was knocked out in the Super Regionals, but Hansman having a great part in that run for them and making his way to the Kettleers this summer. And Alex, he'll be the 40th different arm used by Cotuit this season.
That's crazy. A lot of pitchers coming in and out of here and at Lowell Park, and that's something that Mike Roberts has talked a lot about, just trying to learn on the fly, that you're constantly seeing new arms come in, leave the team, and hopefully for Max Hansman, he continues the trend of what we've seen from the new guys that have been added to this Kettleer pitching staff. And saw it last night with a lot of guys. Bryson Parrish, Mason Davenport, Zach Duenas, all in their first few appearances as a Kettleer. And now Hansman making his first appearance. Hopefully he can close out this fourth inning and keep it at just a 2-1 game.
Yeah, it's been the two-out production for Harwich in this fourth that has brought them in front of this game. 2-1 they lead it now, with the runner on second being Macon Winslow. Sam McNulty is the batter, and the first pitch we see from Max Hansman misses outside. It's 1-0. So the Kettleers allowed 5 earned runs in last night's game at Brewster, 3 of those coming home with 2 outs in the inning. And that was, of course, all in the bottom of the third inning where Brewster got all of their runs. 1-0, misses upstairs. So 2 runs already scored with 2 outs in this fourth inning today for the Harwich Mariners. First it was Aiden Robbins' RBI single, and then Macon Winslow right after him, but Cade Kurland getting things started off with a single. The 2-0 to McNulty, fans at and misses a fastball at 94 miles an hour from Hansman, and it's 2-1. Hansman working into 26 games this season for Evansville. 17 of those were scoreless. So that 6.1 ERA being inflated because of a couple of outings where he really wasn't able to find his footing. As this count is evened up at 2-2, Sam McNulty takes that 93 on the gun fastball away, and a chance for Hansman to escape this fourth frame. He takes a deep breath and throws, and this will be a full count to McNulty. Pitched in nearly 40 innings this year at University of Evansville, gave up 26 earned, 3 homers against, and 41 strikeouts. Struggled at times with 32 walks. 3-2 to Sam McNulty. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So the first batter that Max Hansman faces in his Kettleers career winds up being a swinging K. So the Mariners will leave one on second base, not before taking a 2-1 lead in this ball game as we go to the home half of the fourth here on the Kettleers Digital Network. But before we send it to a break, it's time for Kettleers Trivia, brought to you by the Cotuit Library. This 1988 Kettleer, he was the National League MVP in 2000, but played for the Kettleers 12 years before that. He's a 5-time All-Star, splitting time between the Mets, Indians, Giants, Astros, and Dodgers. Righty infielder, he played plenty of seasons in the MLB, won 4 Silver Slugger awards. And now we've seen some familiarity with this family as his son, Caden, currently plays for the Brewster Whitecaps. We're able to see him play last night, but of course his dad playing for the Kettleers in 1998. So swipe up in the YouTube comments if you know the answer to today's Kettleers Trivia, brought to you by the Cotuit Library. We'll take a quick break and be back here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Discover a treasure of nearly 70,000 books at the Isaiah Thomas bookstore right here in Cotuit. Founded in 1969 and relocated to a restored 1860s Crocker family house in 1990, their shop is a haven for book lovers of any age. Visit the Isaiah Thomas bookstore on 4632 Falmouth Road in Cotuit or contact at 508-428 2752.
Since 1995, MK Pasic Plumbing and Heating has been your trusted commercial and residential plumbing contractor in Massachusetts. They specialize in new and rehabilitation work, gas and pipe fitting, climate control, heating, HVAC, oil burner work, boiler installation, radiant heat, forced hot water, air conditioning, and duct and sheet metal fabrication services.
Charles Davalon leads off the bottom of the fourth. Justin Mitrovic is back out there, his first offering. Misses down in the dirt. Charles Davalon today 0 for 1, a ground out to back up to the mound, actually. That started off the second inning. Jaron Advincula waiting in the on-deck circle. He blasted his first home run of the summer 2 innings ago, 1-0. Misses in the dirt once more, and Harwich putting up 2 runs of their own in the top of this inning. Top of the fourth, back-to-back base knocks by Robbins and Winslow to bring the Mariners back out in front 2-1. So Jaron Advincula and the rest of this bottom half of the lineup trying to get things going here on Mitrovic, who throws in a strike one to Charles Davalon, making this a 2-1 count on him. This is a Harwich team that has really struggled to score a lot of runs in their last stretch, as this one is rocketed off the bat of Davalon to medium depth right field, and Maldonado has out number 1.
Good swing by Davalon, just hit right at Cam Maldonado in right field, as after surrendering that home run to Jaron Advincula, Justin Mitrovic really settled in out on the bump.
Yeah, has allowed the single to Nolan Naraki, a walk of Brandon Compton. Other than that, everybody retired, but one thing consistent, everybody still putting the ball in play. And a guy who does that better than anybody in this league takes strike one, Jaron Advincula. So this is his 33rd game played this summer. Already 1 for 1 with a hit, as this one's rolled on the ground towards Dickinson at second. He bobbles it at first and then throws to first in time. He was standing behind the second base bag when he fielded that ball, and Jaron Advincula goes down for the first time today, back to 1 for 2. And there are 2 gone in this fourth.
Dickinson bobbled that ball over there at shortstop, as Advincula hustling down the line, making it a tougher play, especially after that bobble from Dickinson. But 2 quick outs here to begin this bottom of the fourth.
First pitch to Timo Becerra is fouled straight back. Yeah, that's definitely a play that Timo Becerra can admire from his counterpart at shortstop. I've talked a lot about Daniel Dickinson and his struggles at the plate, batting just above 200, but what he hasn't done at the plate, he's seemingly made up for in the field. When we were talking to a couple of the Harwich broadcasters at the beginning of the game, saying how, maybe offensively the production hasn't been there, but in the field he hasn't skipped a beat and has served as a great shortstop for Steve Englert's Mariners, as that one ties up Timo Becerra, and he goes down on strikes to end this bottom of the fourth inning. 3 up, 3 down go the Kettleers in the fourth. They still now trail at 2-1 as we check in for the second time today with Adele Huffman, who has more.
Thanks, Joe and Alex. Last night clinching that playoff spot, now looking to clinch the division. The top 2 teams in the division will have that home field advantage come first round of playoffs. Right now, battling it out between us, Hyannis, and Wareham at those top spots. And, it's a close call right now, you guys, but it's one of those close games that Coach Roberts loves so much. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Back to you, Joe and Alex.
Thanks, Adele. Great information as always, as the Kettleers nearing every single day, it seems like, to getting to that number 1 spot in the West Division to guarantee home field throughout the playoffs. But we were talking about it a couple innings ago, saying how maybe playing on the road could benefit this team.
And it could, as Cotuit's played so well on the road. They have a couple of big road games coming up, of course. One of those being Friday night at Wareham. Right now a battle between the first and third seeds in the West Division, but back-to-back games. You play Hyannis on Thursday and Wareham on Friday. Those are going to be arguably the 2 biggest games of the season if Cotuit wants to wrap up that top spot in the West.
And there would have been an off day tomorrow, or maybe get some rest, recuperate, and get ready for those 2 games to end off the season. But tomorrow another makeup game against Orleans, in which that'll be the last time they play Orleans, and then got Hyannis right here at Thursday, and again, talking about Harwich and talking about their struggles, they hadn't won back-to-back home games until last week. And for the Kettleers, they're just looking to have back-to-back home games, and we're going to get that on Saturday, but we're actually not going to get it because we're going to be at home, and then we're going to Falmouth. So Kettleers home and away throughout the rest of this season.
There's just so much baseball. It's honestly getting really hard to follow with, and this is game 2 of the Kettleers' 8 games and 7-day stretch, and there's a lot of baseball upcoming, and always good to make sure that the bullpen's rested. Got a good outings last night from Bryson Parrish, Mason Davenport, and Zach Duenas, and hopefully Max Hansman can continue that here, but this stretch of baseball just paramount for Cotuit and their success heading into the postseason.
Yeah, it's Max Hansman who's back out there for this 5th inning. He's able to strike out Sam McNulty on a full count to end the 4th with a runner on second. So Danny Dickinson is the batter. He'll face 9-1-2 in this 5th. And he evens up the count at 1-1. But Max Hansman, as we were talking about last inning, had a 6.1 ERA, and with 17 scoreless appearances, 6.1 ERA might seem a little crazy, but he was really streaky a lot of times and had a lot of bounce back efforts as he's able to get ahead of Danny Dickinson here. It's 1-2. Went through a stretch in late March, did Hansman, where he allowed 12 earned runs in 4 innings. That was in 3 consecutive appearances. Then responded with 4 straight scoreless appearances after that. Didn't allow a hit in 7 consecutive innings in response to those 12 earned in 4 frames. And then later on in that season, which was this spring, he allowed 6 earned runs in back-to-back appearances and then responded with another scoreless 1-hit stretch in his next 5 innings. And now he starts off this 5th inning with a strikeout of Danny Dickinson. Back-to-back Ks for Max Hansman to start off his Cotuit career, and there's 1 gone in the 5th.
Well, this has been a good start so far for Max Hansman. Made quick work of Sam McNulty to end last inning. Now Daniel Dickinson fell behind with the first pitch and then fired back as Dickinson staying alive with a couple of foul balls, but really nice job by Hansman to attack him on the outside part of the plate and just get the swing and miss.
Cam Maldonado, the batter, he's 1 for 2, attacks the first pitch, but comes up empty as that one's 94 on the fastball from Hansman, 0-1. But Hansman, despite some fits in late April and in March, was able to heat up at the right time in the NCAA tournament. As that one nearly clips Maldonado, he spins away from it, it's 1-1. But that was when Evansville made their historic run to the Super Regional. Hansman had a marquee performance against East Carolina in their Greenville Regional. Threw 4 one-hit innings as this one's hit hard and high into right field. Back going Devin Taylor, and that ball will leave the ballpark. Cam Maldonado's 2nd home run against the Kettleers this summer puts the Mariners in front. It's 3-1.
That ball got out of here in a hurry. Maldonado shooting it the opposite way, just hitting a laser right over the right field wall. A 5th home run for Cam Maldonado this summer, and it's a big insurance run. Of course, scored 2 runs last inning. Justin Mitrovic really feeling it out on the mound, working the 1-2-3 inning, and Maldonado to come up and blast home run number 5 and give Harwich a 2-run advantage.
Aiden Hill is the new batter. He'll take beneath his knees, ball 1. Hill's 0 for 2, pair of groundouts. One of them was a double play to end the 3rd inning. But Hill, along with Aiden Robbins, a newcomer to this roster for Harwich, as he'll take downstairs. But Hill not as successful as his teammate Robbins in his first couple games, this being his 3rd game played. Is 2 for 8 going into this contest, now 2 for 10, but he rockets that one past Tanner Thatch and into right field. So the 3rd hit of the summer for Aiden Hill improves to 1 for 3 and extends this 5th inning. They'll have a runner on first with 1 gone and already 1 run in.
The bats for Harwich just continue to come alive, and Joe talked about it earlier in the game, but this is a Mariner team that really struggles to hit the ball coming into today. With a .230 batting average, that sits last in the league, but now that has to be going up here after 9 hits so far. We're only in the 5th inning of play.
And this is an offense that really needed it in their last 17 games are in that stretch where they went 1-16, have responded with 3 straight wins, and of those 17 games, 10 of them were decided by 3 runs or less. First pitch misses low and away to Cade Kurland, who's 2 for 2. But now that they've won 3 games in a row, it's also been decided by 3 or less games. But in their last 3, there have been some consistencies in each of them, and it's one point that you just brought up. They've out-hit their opponents in each of those games, and they've also scored the first runs of each of those games. They did not score the first run of today, but have jumped back out in front 3-1. So it's a 2-0 count here to Cade Kurland, and giving one of the hottest hitters in this middle of the lineup an advantage. Grant Jay will go out there and talk with Hansman.
And scoring first for Harwich has been massive for their success. Coming into today, they had a 10-9 record when they scored first, and when the opponent scored first, they were just 3-13. And one of those 3 wins actually here at Lowell Park. Cotuit scoring the first run all the way back in the game on June 15th, where Harwich had the 13-2 victory, but definitely crucial to hop back in and score 2 runs an inning ago, and now adding a vital insurance run after the solo shot by Maldonado.
It seems like in the past few games, they've just been getting that one hit, Harwich has been, and they've been able to jumpstart the offense, rallying around a couple of different marquee plays, and that's more of what we talked a lot about in momentum, and that being so crucial in the game of baseball. I know you can talk about it so much in other sports, and maybe people overlook it in the game of baseball, but I think it plays a big role. When you have a guy who can get out there, get a big stolen base, get a big out, that can be super electrifying for your team. But Cade Kurland now has a 3-1 count, and something that would be very good for this offense to see after the home run is 2 straight base runners. Aiden Hill is on first, and a 3-0 count to Cade Kurland, who is already 2 for 2 in this contest, and he accepts ball 4 right there. To advance, they'll put runners on first and second with 1 gone for Matt Scannell.
Hansman just losing Kurland on 4 pitches. Those 4 balls littered all over the strike zone there, but now this is a big spot for Max Hansman. Already giving up the solo home run to Maldonado. Have to bounce back here. 1 out in the inning. Runners on first and second, and Matt Scannell, who is quiet so far today, but is a dangerous hitter.
Attacks the first pitch, rolls it towards Advincula. He thought about second, but will throw to first to get the easy play there. Retiring Scannell, but he advances both runners into scoring position, and there'll be 2 gone in the 5th.
And Advincula with the smart decision just to get the 1 out at first. Would have been a tough turn for Timo Becerra, as Advincula making that play right by the first base bag, decides to go for 1 and get the 2nd out.
Now it'll be Luke Heyman, another guy you don't want to give the stick with 2 runners in scoring position, but he's 0 for 2 so far today. This is 17th game played this summer. Takes a front door breaking ball from Hansman for a strike 1. Well, that's a nice pitch from Hansman. Low and inside slider at 82. Started right around the left knee of Heyman. Clipped the corner of the zone, and a key first strike against the right-handed swinger out of Florida. He'll take outside there, making it 1-1. But Luke Heyman, a streaky guy this past season at Florida. Earned the SEC Player of the Week after an unreal performance in the last week of April. He went 7 for 21, 5 RBIs, a homer. That was all across 5 games. Now takes a big cut at that pitch from Hansman. He's back to 1-2. But then also like Hansman is a guy who heated up when his team needed him most. He went yard in the 9th inning in Florida's comeback win in Game 1 of the Super Regionals against Clemson. That was a solo shot to make it 9-8. Florida would go on to win that game, en route to another Omaha appearance for them in the 2nd straight season. Once they got to the College World Series, Heyman went 4 for 17 at the plate, had a 3-hit night against Kentucky, and that one was to go to the College World Series. So showing up when his team needed it most, and while it's tough to compare those two, this is also a good opportunity for him to give the Mariners a 5-1 lead potentially in this game. So far, tough day at the plate. A couple of ground outs. But Max Hansman is just trying to escape his first full inning of work. Allowed the solo shot from Cam Maldonado, now has 2 runners on, and the 3-2 pitch misses up and away. So with first base unoccupied, Luke Heyman is headed that way, and they'll juice up the bases for Aiden Robbins.
This is not the guy that Max Hansman wants to see coming up with the bases loaded. Aiden Robbins so far today, 2 for 2, does have an RBI as Mike Roberts makes the trip out to the mound, but Robbins is such a dangerous hitter and now coming up in a massive spot with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
So Aiden Robbins, as you just mentioned, is already 2 for 2 today, but Mike Roberts is having a conversation with his guys on the mound. A lot of activity in that bullpen in left field. Looks like 2 guys warming up. One guy who was warming up is now standing along the fence line. And Mike Roberts just talking strategy ahead of Aiden Robbins' first, or excuse me, yeah, it is going to be his first at-bat against Hansman, but 3rd overall on the day. Taking a look at some scores around the league, Orleans with a 3-2 advantage in the top of the 5th over Yarmouth Dennis. Hyannis and Falmouth are set to get going in a few minutes from McKeon Park. And one other game set to take place later on tonight in Chatham. Brewster in much need of some wins right now. They're 12-21. Also tied a couple of games, but they're slipping down the East Division standings, and Harwich recently overpassing them for the 3 spot. Well in line to continue to climb those standings with a win here today, and a big opportunity to extend their lead for Aiden Robbins, who goes around on the first pitch and is down 0-1. But he so far, with a run scored and an RBI, has 2 singles. Aiden Robbins been a difference maker since making his way to this roster, now 6 for 10. And the 0-1 is fanned out and missed, so perfect start here for Hansman against him. He's ahead 0-2. Big moment here to try to keep the Kettleers just behind 2. Hansman comes set. Popped up just beyond first base into shallow right field. Devin Taylor is under it, and he will make the grab by his left ear for the final out of this bottom of the 5th frame. So Max Hansman is able to escape the bases loaded jam, not before Cam Maldonado goes deep for the 5th time this summer. So the Mariners, with a 3-1 advantage, will go to the home half of the 5th. And when we come back, my broadcast partner Alex Rocco will take you home on the play-by-play when we come back, right here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Escape the summer heat at Polar Cave Ice Cream Parlor, located on Route 28 in Mashpee, right at the Barnstable town line. Our creamy, homemade ice cream flavors will delight your taste buds. Plus, Kettleers kids get a free cone on home game days. Call us at 508-477-5553 or email info@polarcave.com to learn more. Come chill with us and experience the coolest treats on Cape Cod.
RCA Electric and Generators is dedicated to helping homeowners and building contractors select, purchase, install, and maintain the ideal generator for their specific needs. Since being founded by Randy Agnew in 1990, this Barnstable-based family-run business has grown its reputation by serving all of Cape Cod, the South Shore, and the South Coast. Get in touch today by reaching out to RCA at 508-428-0449 or visit in person at 153 Commercial Street in Mashpee.
Willow Bend has been regarded as one of Cape Cod's and New England's premier private clubs and communities for over 25 years. Willow Bend is a family-friendly community right here in Cotuit. They strive for a fun and relaxed lifestyle with good times and good friends. Discover all that and more at Willow Bend.
8-9-1 due up for Cotuit here in the bottom of the 5th as Harwich leading the Kettleers 3-1. I'm Alex Rocco, joined alongside by my broadcast partner Joe Pratt here on the Kettleers Digital Network. A swing away at the first pitch is Naraki, chopping that foul down the third baseline against the starter Justin Mitrovic, who continues to ball out on the mound. He's allowed just 2 hits so far through 4 innings, striking out 2 batters. One of those 2 hits coming off the bat of Nolan Naraki, who's 1 for 1 today with a single. The 0-1 breaking ball evades the strike zone. Naraki has his batting average all the way up to 276. They're having a good game last night in Brewster. Reached base 3 times in that game, was 2 for 3, also reached via the walk. That's something that the Kettleers haven't done a lot today. Just 2 walks so far, both coming from Brandon Compton. The count is 2-1 to Naraki. A bullet line drive foul down the left field line. So the count evened up at 2-2.
Great contact from Naraki, though. Got all of that baseball, and that's really similar to what he did the last time he was up, who roped that single down the left field line into the shadows.
The 2-2 taken for ball 3 high and in tight, so Naraki has worked the count full to begin this bottom of the 5th. Harwich have scored 3 unanswered runs. Cotuit looking to add to the run and hit total. As Mitrovic, the payoff pitch on the way. Another foul ball hard down the third base line. Mike Roberts throwing a leg up, trying to get out of the way.
Cool as a cucumber, as always, though. Not even a flinch. I mean, he was a college catcher and played a little bit professionally, but I'm not trying to say anything about his age, but that was a long time ago.
The payoff pitch spiked in the dirt. That gets away from Macon Winslow, so Naraki reaches on the walk after a couple of hard line drives right at Mike Roberts over there at third base. But Naraki reaches for the second time today. Now that brings up Grant J.
But he's still got it. And I remember talking with Mike Roberts last season saying how, does your arm ever get tired from throwing that much BP? Because he is out there every single time. Very, very rarely do you see the machine pulled out at Lowell Park. And he said, no, I'm used to it. I throw BP every single day. I have for the past 40 whatever years it's been since he's been coaching. I think it's over 50 years at this point. But we talk so much about experience and having experience on these rosters. There are so many coaches in this league who have so much experience, and these are 2 of the most experienced guys in the whole league, Steve Englert and Mike Roberts today.
To your point about Mike Roberts and constantly throwing batting practice pitches, for what really sealed the deal for me was on the 4th of July, where he was throwing batting practice pregame to all the fans that were hitting here at Lowell Park and iced his arm for a little bit and then came out and threw batting practice to the Kettleers. And that man, Mike Roberts, a machine over there at third base, has a wealth of baseball knowledge. It's always good to help mentor and the future generation of baseball as Grant J takes the opening pitch high in the zone for ball 1.
Yeah, I think that's a big reason as to why he brings a lot of the players that he wants to bring in here, guys who he not only thinks are great players and are going to help this team, but also guys he wants to work with and help improve. And one guy who's a great example is the man at the plate, Grant J.
We've seen Grant J work a lot with Mike Roberts as a catcher, and that's been a part of the game that has really taken off for Grant J, becoming more of a defensive catcher, has also worked to eliminate the strikeouts in Jay's game as the next pitch in the at-bat runs in tight as Jay has to duck out of the way. So he's up in the count 3-0. He's 0 for 1 today, popped up to Daniel Dickinson at short to end the second inning. Hitting just 147 this summer is Jay. As Naraki leads off first, the 3-0 on the way. Taken for ball 4, so a pair of free passes to Naraki and Jay to begin the bottom of the 5th, and Cotuit has runners on first and second with the leadoff man Tanner Thatch digging in.
Well, those are the at-bats from Grant J that you really like to see. I know we haven't seen the production from him too much offensively, especially in the last couple of weeks, but there was a time where he was striking out over 50% of the time at the plate, and with that at-bat, he's falling back further towards below 40% on that mark. So if there's any silver lining to take away from that offensively is that he's putting the ball in play a lot more. He's being able to work a bit more walks, that being the 11th so far on the summer. But if you're able to make a difference in any way that you can, which Grant J has, he cut down a runner to end an inning at second base, has played really solid defense. At this point, if he's able to get things going with the bat, that would just be a bonus.
So after the walk to Grant J, Justin Mitrovic's day is done. He goes 4 innings. But the walks to Naraki and J causes him to exit the game. So with the new arm coming in for Harwich, we'll step aside for a quick commercial break from Lowell Park.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
For the Harwich Mariners.
Justin Mitrovic's day is done. He goes 4 innings, allows just 2 hits, 1 run, that coming off the solo shot from Jaron Advincula. 4 walks, 2 of which coming in this inning, and 2 strikeouts as he gives way to the lefty Jake Hilton, who enters for the first time against Cotuit this season. Hilton, this is his 4th appearance so far this summer, has a 1-0 record, a 6.75 ERA. Has gone 5 1/3 innings pitched, has struck out 8 batters, allowing 4 walks and 5 hits. When he comes into the game, facing the leadoff man for Cotuit, Tanner Thatch, with Nolan Naraki leading off second and Grant Jay off first. Hilton takes a look back at Naraki, now comes home with the first pitch that's looked at for a called strike 1. Thatch so far today 0 for 2, with a strikeout and a flyout to Aiden Hill in center field. The 0-1, foul tip straight back into the fence, so Thatch is down to the count 0-2 against the newly inserted lefty. Hilton this past year, a 9-3 record with a 2.94 ERA at D3 Pomona Pitzer. As the 0-2, this one flared the opposite way. That'll get down into left field. Robbins fields. Naraki will be held at third, so it's a single for Tanner Thatch. He improves to 1 for 3 on the day, and the bases are loaded for Easton Winfield.
A great piece of hitting from Tanner Thatch, not trying to do too much, takes it the opposite way. A lot of times we see him up at the plate, take some big violent hacks that pitches low and inside, and he's looking towards the right field fence, and that was clearly a pitch that was more on the outer portion of the plate, just flings the barrel at it, puts it down the left field line, and that's really something that is so crucial for Tanner Thatch. He's not a guy who's going to be out there chasing after pitches, going to be a swing and a miss guy or a home run or strikeout guy. He's a guy who can hit for average as well.
Thatch with that single now, is batting average sitting at .282 so far this summer. Now that brings up Easton Winfield, who's in the midst of a tough stretch at the dish, is 0 for 2 today. Swinging at the 1-0 pitch, popping that high up, making Winslow right around home plate, throws off the mask, makes the grab for a crucial first out of the inning as Winfield falls back to 0 for 3 today. Now that brings up Brandon Compton.
Yeah, just a tough result there. I mean, it pretty much works the same exact way as a strikeout for Easton Winfield. An unproductive at-bat where you need to be putting a ball in play, and just want to see him return to some of the things that he was able to do earlier on in the season, and that was just a couple of games ago. Mike Roberts was impressed by the way he was lining the baseball everywhere and running the base paths really well, and just be nice to see him break into some of those good habits.
First pitch to Compton nearly drills him as he has to duck out of the way. Compton still looking for his first official at-bat today, is 0 for 0 with a pair of walks. 1-0. Looked at for a called strike one. Kettleer dugout and Faithful disagree with the call, but it's a called strike one in around the knees of Compton to even the count up at 1-1. Harwich going with the lefty as Cotuit has 6 consecutive lefties at the top of the order. Brandon Compton batting third today as he's now up in the count 2-1. Came into today hitting .308, 5 home runs, 26 RBIs. Tied for first on the team in RBIs. The 2-1, Compton back up the middle into center field. Grabbed by Aiden Hill, tagging from third is Naraki. The throw goes to the shortstop Dickinson. So it's a sacrifice fly by Brandon Compton, and Cotuit trails by just a run.
Well, there's a productive at-bat from Brandon Compton, and a guy who, even if he's maybe not able to get a base hit today, is able to reach base twice and drives in a crucial second run of this ball game. So for him just to have an impact on the final score and in the box score is something that he's done in seemingly every single game so far this year, and does so again here. But you got to credit the great pitching from Harwich right here. It's a difficult situation for Jake Hilton to enter into, and he works 2 outs and just 1 earned run.
So now that brings up Devin Taylor, with Grant J leading off second, Tanner Thatch off first. High looping breaking ball runs too far inside for ball 1 against Taylor, who's 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts. 1 to Cade Curlin at second and 1 back to the starter Justin Mitrovic. The 1-0 high that pops off the glove of Winslow. Advancing to third is Jay. Moving up to second is Thatch, and Cotuit has runners in scoring position with a count 2-0 on Taylor.
Well, just a huge opportunity for Devin Taylor, who has been ultra productive for the Kettleers this season, and really rare that we see him sitting here at 0 for 2 in a contest, and he's a guy who has never gone 2 straight games at Indiana without reaching base, and these are the moments that he's built for.
Back-to-back games with an extra base hit, another pitch low in the dirt, kept in front by Winslow. So the count is 3-0 on Taylor with first base open. Could see Jake Hilton walk. Taylor to load the bases for Charles Davalon. Hilton peers in. Now comes set, deals the 3-0. Looked at for a called strike one. The count goes to 3-1.
Yeah, I have to assume he was taking all the way there, but still playing a massive shift on Devin Taylor as this Harwich infield. Look at that hole just behind Tanner Thatch.
The shortstop Dickinson playing right up the middle as the 3-1 goes right up the middle and off the glove and into center field of Dickinson. Jay comes in to score. Thatch follows him, and Devin Taylor just putting a ball in play. Nets 2 runs for Cotuit as they take a 4-3 advantage.
And you'll see Grant Jay and Tanner Thatch have some words with Charles Davalon and Jaron Advincula. I don't know if you picked up on this, Alex. Tanner Thatch was taking his lead at second there right before the pitch was released to Devin Taylor. He was motioning up and down with his right hand with 2 fingers, indicating what the pitch could be, and that's just stellar communication. And guys who have known that they've been in these situations before, they've had a lot of experience, and experience is paying off right there for the Kettleers as they take a 4-3 lead.
So now that brings up Charles Davalon. Running on the pitch is Taylor. The throw down from Winslow is in time. They got him. An aggressive play by Cotuit as Taylor tries to swipe second, but he is cut down for the third and final out of the inning. But not before Cotuit played 3 runs here in the bottom of the 5th as they now take a 4-3 advantage after 5 innings from Lowell Park. We'll step aside for a quick commercial break here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Leagues honoring those who served with Red Shirt Fridays. Every home team on Fridays wear red Cape League uniforms and an Army camouflaged hat. For every Friday game at Lowell Park, the Kettleers are honoring a hero of the game presented by the Massachusetts State Lottery. For exclusive Red Shirt Friday gear like fitted player hats, head to the Kettleers store at the ballpark. We hope you can join us for a Red Shirt Friday at Lowell Park this season.
For over 40 years, Vollmer & Son Construction has proudly served its community, providing a wide range of construction services, from bathroom renovations to complete home remodels. When you work with Vollmer & Son, you are being taken care of by natives of Cape Cod who support the community by using local suppliers and subcontractors. Vollmer & Son Construction, a proud sponsor of the Cotuit Kettleers.
Looking to connect with the right business? ZoomInfo's got you covered. With a database of over 100 million company profiles, they provide top-notch data to boost sales and marketing growth. Since 2007, ZoomInfo's B2B data quality has ensured that businesses have the best intelligence right at your fingertips. Discover more at zoominfo.com and see how you can get connected today.
Founded and owned by Michael Pasek, a team of 9 skilled professionals is dedicated to providing top-quality service. MK Pasek Plumbing and Heating is registered with the Massachusetts Board of State Examiners of Plumbers and the Department of Public Safety. For all your plumbing and heating needs, contact MK Pasek Plumbing and Heating at 508-420-3429 or at 60 Clamshell Point Lane in Cotuit. MK Pasek Plumbing and Heating, proud sponsor of the Cotuit Kettleers.
Dylan Hawanitz is the new arm into the game for Cotuit, the third pitcher used, as he comes in relief of Max Hansman, who in his Kettleer debut goes an inning and a third, allows 2 hits, 1 run, walked 2, and struck out 2. As in comes Hawanitz with the Kettleers with a newfound 4-3 advantage after they plated 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th. Naraki, Jay, and Thatch came in to score, 2 of which came in to score after the error committed by Daniel Dickinson, the shortstop, who was playing right up the middle against Devin Taylor. As he shot that right back up the middle, deflected off the glove and into center field. Now it's the 7, 8, 9 hitters to face Hawanitz, Macon Winslow, Sam McNulty, and Daniel Dickinson. The first offering to Winslow, an off-speed pitch taken for ball 1 in the opposite batter's box. Winslow today 1 for 2, popped up to Nolan Naraki and laced a double 2 innings ago. The 1-0, a big cut on and missed to even the count up at 1-1. Hawanitz has pitched a lot for Cotuit as of late. As this one hit on the ground to the shortstop, Becerra fields cleanly, fires his throw in plenty of time to nab Winslow for the first out here in the 6th.
Well, these first 2 outs are just super important for Dylan Hawanitz to get in this 6th inning. If you're able to get through Winslow, already an RBI double today. McNulty has ran into a ball for a base hit. So if you're able to get through these 2 and face Danny Dickinson with a chance to end the frame with 2 gone, that's exactly where you want to be, as this has become a put-away inning for the Kettleers. I know they are the home team, but anytime you put up runs of your own, you want to go out there again in the next inning and throw up a 0. That's what Hawanitz is trying to do.
0-1 is the count against McNulty, who's 1 for 2. Singled in his first at-bat, now gets plunked right on the thigh, so he reaches first for the 2nd time today. So now that brings up the shortstop, Daniel Dickinson. Dickinson today 0 for 2 with a fly out to Charles Davalon in center field. And a strikeout to lead off the top of the 5th. And now Mike Roberts will make the slow track out to the mound. Talking things over with Dylan Hawanitz, who's pitched a lot as of late for Cotuit, making his first appearance against Harwich so far this summer. But Hawanitz, a crafty righty, submariner, 3-pitch mix, a fastball, slider, and changeup. Definitely likes to work quickly out on the mound, but Mike Roberts talking things over after the hit by pitch from Sam McNulty. As Tyler O'Neill started the game for Cotuit, he went 3 2/3, allowed 7 hits, 2 runs, didn't walk a batter and struck out 2. Max Hansman went an inning and a third, allowed 2 hits, a run, walked 2, and struck out 2. So after the hit by pitch of McNulty, Dylan Hawanitz's day is done. So we'll step aside for a quick commercial break here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Since 1988, Advanced Embroidery has garnered national awards in embroidery and screen printing. They offer screenings on golf shirts, Oxford shirts, jackets, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and bags. Advanced Embroidery will print your company's or team's logos anywhere. Thousands of satisfied customers can attest for Advanced Embroidery's attentive customer service, tight quality control, and quick turnaround time. They're open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday on 38 Plant Road in Hyannis.
Beacon Gardens is a full-service garden center right here in Mashpee. They sell a variety of landscaping materials and seasonal produce to both consumers and landscaping professionals around the Barnstable Village. Stop by and see all Beacon Gardens has to offer at 182 West Barnstable Road in Austerville.
The Kettleers baseball clinics are well underway in the summer of 2024, offering boys and girls ages 6 through 17 with the opportunity to learn from some of the most experienced coaches and some of the top college baseball players in the country. With no prior baseball experience necessary, the camps teach kids the fundamentals of baseball, as well as good citizenship, sportsmanship, and character. With just a few weeks of camp left, time is running out. So to sign up, head over to info.collegebaseballcamps.com/CK. Again, that's info.collegebaseballcamps.com/CK. We hope to see you there.
Operating on
University of Michigan and a 2011 batting champion for Cape Cod baseball. Number 3, Daniel Dickinson, shortstop LSU.
So Dylan Hawanitz's day is done. He faces just 2 hitters, Macon Winslow and Sam McNulty. Got a ground out to Timo Becerra at short and hit McNulty. So now that brings in Max Martzoff. This pickoff move not in time as McNulty dives in safely. So another pitcher making their Kettleer debut. Saw Max Hansman do it just a couple of innings ago. So from one Max skipping over Dylan Hawanitz, but to another Max. It's both Maxes making their Kettleer debut.
Yeah, now the 41st pitcher to throw for the Kettleers this summer.
Martzoff attends FAU, had a 2-0 record this past year in 19 appearances. His first offering to Danny Dickinson outside for ball 1. Not his first summer baseball team. Pitched in the Cal Ripken League with the Bethesda Big Train. Another pickoff move. McNulty dives back in safely. That was his second summer with the Big Train. Had a 1-2 record, 3 ERA in 21 innings. 1-0 offering once again, can't find the zone. Dickinson up in the count 2-0 here. In his third at-bat, so far he's 0 for 2. A fly out to Charles Davalon in center and a strikeout. The lefty deals. Can't find the strike zone again as the count is run up to 3-0 here against Dickinson. Dickinson has struggled so far this summer. Came into today hitting .205. That was average under 200 as he looks at a pitch right down Main Street for strike 1. Dickinson, of course, committing the error in the bottom half of the 5th that plated 2 runs for Cotuit. gave them the 4-3 advantage as he takes a big cut, fouls a pitch right back into the fence behind home plate. So from 3-0 to 3-2 we go. The count is full with 1 out in the inning. McNulty leads off first, Cotuit leading Harwich 4-3. Martzoff comes set the payoff pitch. High and outside for ball 4 as Grant J. an acrobatic stop to keep that ball in front of him. But Dickinson reaches for the first time today as there are 2 runners on for the leadoff man, Cam Maldonado.
And now Mike Roberts walking out to the mound again. Max Martzoff was warming up out there in the outfield for quite a bit. And he's just a guy who you dream to have on a summer ball team. I mean, when you look at the last 2 seasons for him in the Cal Ripken League, the consistency is uncanny. I mean, a 3 ERA in 2023, went on to have a 3 ERA again at the start of this summer. 10 appearances in 23, it was 13 appearances or 14 appearances this year. 3 earned run against, 7 earned run against in 2023. He struck out 28 guys, struck out 44 this summer, and even built on what he built last season in the Cal Ripken League, who was in the back of the Big Trains bullpen, and really just an ideal guy to have back there who locked down the end of games for almost 2 full summers in the Cal Ripken League, and now making his way to the Cape League, but he only faces 1 batter in this 6th frame and another pitching change in the 6th.
So Max Martzoff comes out of the bullpen, throws just 6 pitches, issues a walk to Daniel Dickinson as Mike Roberts has seen enough, goes to a no arm, so we'll step aside for a quick break from Lowell Park.
Go-to provider for all excavation, drainage, and waterworks services. On top of that, they offer landscape filling materials such as sand, native stone, gravel, shells, and more. Serving Cape Cod and the islands for 30 years, Bortolotti Construction is committed to serving its community. Visit at 45 Industry Road in Marston's Mills or call 508-771-9399.
Coastal Rentals is the place to go for professional landscape and construction equipment. Whether you need tools and equipment for commercial use or for your own projects, Coastal Rentals has what you need. Purchasing gear is also available. Check out Coastal Rentals today.
Cotuit Library. Since its founding in 1874, the Cotuit Library has served its community with an expansive collection that continues to grow. Their staff is dedicated to serving all ages, offering youth events weekly. The library has dozens of events scheduled throughout the summer, so be sure to head to the website at cotuitlibrary.org to see what's coming up next. The library is located right off Main Street. The Cotuit Library, a proud sponsor of the Kettleers.
Be a part of historic Lowell Park and support the Cotuit Kettleers by purchasing a paver engraved with your personal message to be placed in the new Walk of Champions. For more information, visit the Cotuit Kettleers website. Bortolotti
Colin McKay is the new arm for Cotuit, and as he's taking up his warm-up pitches, we'll reveal the answer to Catch Trivia today. This 1988 Kettleer was a National League MVP in the year 2000 and a 5-time All-Star. He split time amongst the Mets, Indians, Giants, Astros, and Dodgers. Boy, that's a lot of teams. The righty infielder would go on to win 4 Silver Slugger awards, and his son playing on the Cape Cod League with Brewster yesterday. As Cotuit squaring off against him. His son reached a couple of times yesterday. The answer, Jeff Kent, such a fantastic MLB player. So if you got that answer right, hopefully you did, drop it in the YouTube comments below. But coming in is Cullen McKay. Count is 0-1 against the leadoff man, Cam Maldonado. Count evened up at 1-1 against Maldonado, who's had a really productive day at the dish so far. Struck out in his first at-bat, but is 2 for 2 since with a single and a home run just an inning ago. The 1-1 offering taken high for ball 2. Maldonado's in the driver's seat up 2-1. Currently fashioning a .271 batting average so far this summer. 5 home runs, 18 RBIs. As the 2-1 from McKay, fouled out of play down the right field line, past the visiting grandstand. But for Cullen McKay, he enters another game for the Kettleers. This being his 3rd appearance, his last coming on July 23rd against Hyannis. Takes a look back at the runner McNulty at second, fires home the 2-2 pitch well outside, and the count runs full here against Maldonado. But McKay, so far in his first 2 appearances, has a 7.71 ERA, 4 2/3 innings pitched. He's only allowed 1 hit, but the walks have really come back to bite him. 3 walks, 4 strikeouts as the 3-2 pitch. A towering pop-up. Grant J throws the mask off, but he will run out of room as that ball goes foul near the visiting grandstand.
Cullen McKay, a veteran guy for this Kettleers team, but has only appeared in 2 games so far this summer for the Kets, and a guy who's coming off of a year where he struggled at Virginia a little bit, had an 8.45 ERA, but was incredibly productive for the Kettleers last summer, where he had an ERA sub-3.
The 3-2, high looping breaking ball laid off for ball 4. So Cullen McKay comes out of the bullpen and issues a walk to Cam Maldonado. And the bases are now loaded for Aiden Hill.
So 3 straight base runners, even though it's taken a while, have reached base for the Whitecaps against 3 different pitchers too, which is pretty crazy to say, but all Cullen McKay is trying to do is pound the zone here, draw some weak contact, and with 1 out, you still have an opportunity to turn 2.
First pitch strike against Aiden Hill. Starts off his 4th at-bat, where he's 1 for 3. The pair of groundouts, 4-3 groundout to Jaron Advincula, 4-6-3 inning-ending double play as he waves through an off-speed pitch from McKay. He's down on the count 0-2. Singled just an inning ago in his last at-bat, so he's now 1 for 3. Hitting .273 in his young Harwich career. The 0-2 pitch rocketed. That'll get down to right field. 1 run comes in to score. It's McNulty. Stopping at third is Dickinson as Taylor relays in the ball quickly as it's an RBI single for Aiden Hill, and Harwich ties up the contest at 4.
Just a great piece of 2-strike hitting for Aiden Hill. He gets that pitch low and inside, rockets it towards Devin Taylor and right, and picks up his 2nd RBIs of the summer right there. And massive runs for Harwich. Every single run is super massive for them where they sit in the CCBL standings, 3rd place in the East and fighting for a playoff spot. Every single at-bat becomes that much more important. And Hill following through right there.
Now that brings up the ever-dangerous Cade Curlin, who's 2 for 2 today, has reached in all 3 plate appearances. Worked a walk last inning, has doubled and singled. The 0-1 on the way to the second baseman. A big cut on and missed as he falls behind 0-2. So back-to-back times where Cullen McKay has gotten the count to 0-2. Looking for the put-away pitch here against Curlin with just 1 out in this inning. McKay kicks and deals the 0-2 pitch. Got him swinging. McKay went with the 91-mile-an-hour fastball to get the punch-out of Cade Curlin, as that's the first time he's been set down on strikes today, and a crucial 2nd out.
Very crucial, as Cade Curlin digging in there was 3 for 3 at the plate today. And Cullen McKay, that's really what happens when you get ahead in the count, is able to let out a little bit of frustration, maybe a little extra steam on that final pitch, and blows it by Curlin for the 2nd out.
Starts out the first baseman, Matt Scannell, with a first pitch strike. In around the knees. Scannell, a tough day at the dish so far, 0 for 3, with a strikeout, a flyout, and a ground out. As the 0-1 taken outside for ball 1, even the count up at 1-1. Joe, going back to Cullen McKay's success last year with Cotuit, really saw that success in his first 4 appearances at UVA, had a .53 ERA. As Scannell pops one over the press box back into the parking lot, and young kid just made a really excellent grab. Had the glove out, put it out in front, and hit a heck of a catch.
That's awesome. He was in the perfect spot for him. He's definitely got a couple of friends here too. They're all surrounding him right now saying, good job, man, what a catch that was. And big pitch right here too.
Pitch on the way, shot back up the middle. A diving attempt from Becerra. That gets through into center field. One run comes in to score. Another follows him. It's a 2 RBI single for Matt Scannell as Harwich regains the lead. They take a 6-4 advantage here in the top of the 6th.
Another great piece of hitting there for Matt Scannell. This is not a team that is in the top of the league by any means in terms of slugging percentage, home runs. They don't really hit for power too well compared to other teams in this league, but they really just are not trying to do too much there. Matt Scannell gets a pitch that he likes, shoots it straight back up the middle, improves to 1 for 4 on the day, but it seems like they have been learning with every single at-bat. This team still continues to build some chemistry that they've had since the start of the season, and it's really showing in these last 3 games.
And Joe, I think you just had to know that the runs were going to come in this game. 61 runs in the first 3 games, now up to 71 with the 10 runs scored so far. As here is Luke Heyman, chops this one on the ground to the third baseman Nolan Naraki, who fields it in foul territory. Nearly thought that was a fair ball there. It was right down the third base line, but I'm going to say that was a foul ball, so Luke Heyman stays alive.
Yeah, it looked fair. It's really tough to tell, but I mean, it's always important to know that there are no chalk lines going to either bag here at Lowell Park. The grass is the baseline, so pretty simple. If the ball's not bouncing in the grass, it's not in fair territory, but looked like that one was pretty close.
Heyman today is 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts and a walk. The 0-2 from McKay. Got him looking. Luke Heyman set down on strikes for the first time today. He now falls back to 0 for 3, but not before Harwich answers Cotuit's 3-run bottom of the 5th with 3 runs of their own as they now take a 6-4 lead after the top of the 6th, and we'll step aside for a quick commercial break here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Cape Cod Coffee is a proud sponsor of the Cotuit Kettleers. They offer breakfast and lunch, as well as indoor and outdoor dining. Check out Cape Cod Coffee at one of their 3 locations, on Route 130, at Mashpee Commons, and at Wareham Commons, or on their website at capecodcoffee.com.
When the unexpected happens, make sure you and your assets are insured appropriately. The agents at Leonard Insurance Agency can tailor coverage to meet your needs. Call 508-428-6921 to talk to their licensed agents today. For nearly 2 decades, Coastal Irrigation has proudly provided top-notch irrigation and landscape lighting services across Cape Cod. Starting with just a handful of customers in Cotuit, they now serve nearly all of the Cape. Upgrade your lawn care with their modern irrigation systems. No more dragging around hoses or worrying about watering while you're away. Their systems ensure your grass stays healthy and green effortlessly. Transform your home with Coastal Irrigation's landscape lighting services. Enhance your outdoor gatherings, improve safety, and boost curb appeal with their affordable, low-voltage lighting solutions. Illuminate your walkways and highlight architectural details to make your home shine. Contact Coastal Irrigation at 508-428-1529 or info@coastalirrigation.net.
Pitching for the Mariners, number 20, from McGrath, Northeastern. McGrath, number 20 from Northeastern, now pitching for Harwich. Leading off the division, number 24, Charles Adams, center fielder.
A brand new ball game from Lowell Park as Harwich answers Cotuit's 3-run bottom of the 5th with 3 runs of their own. They now lead 6-4 here in the bottom of the 6th. As the Mariners will go to the bullpen for the 2nd time today, they'll bring in Cooper McGrath, the righty, who gets a big swing and a miss from Charles Davalon, who's up for the 3rd time today. Davalon 0 for 2. Facing McGrath, who stands 6'7", 220 pounds, out of Northeastern. The righty deals the 0-1, a high-towering pop-up hit right to the third baseman, Sam McNulty, who makes the play in foul territory for the first out.
Well, good start for Cooper McGrath, who gets his first appearance against the Kettleers this season. Posted a 2.63 ERA this past season at Northeastern. It was his graduate season there, had a 3-0 record, and made his way from D3 baseball to Division I ball in his final year.
Shot the other way. That'll get down for Jaron Advincula. His second hit today, so another multi-hit performance for the Kettleers second baseman as he's now 2 for 3.
Yeah, make it his 17th multi-hit game of the season so far for Jaron Advincula, and a great start to the day with the home run. Nice to see him get back into the swing of things after a ground out after another long at-bat in the 4th inning. But improves to 2 for 3 today, and just what the Kettleers needed, a base runner now down 6-4.
Just the 4th hit of the day for Cotuit, a pickoff move Advincula back in standing. Harwich, 6 runs on 11 hits, 1 error. Cotuit, 4 runs on just 4 hits, no errors. Digging in is Timo Becerra. He's 0 for 2. Popped up to Matt Scannell at first and also struck out swinging to end the bottom of the 4th. Takes a healthy cut out of the 92-mile-an-hour heater from McGrath as he falls behind in the count 0-1. For McGrath, just his second appearance so far this summer. In his first outing, went an inning and a third. Struck out all 4 batters that he got out. But walks were an issue. Walked 2 hitters, allowed 3 hits. So came into today with a 13.5 ERA. The count is 0-2 against the Kettleers shortstop. Looking to reach for the first time today. Advincula dancing off first. McGrath peers in, kicks and deals the 0-2. Taken well outside for ball 1. A nice stop by Macon Winslow, reaching over into the opposite batter's box to keep that ball in front.
You know, Winslow's not a guy who's been the everyday man behind the plate. As mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, he's a guy who has been exchanging time with the new catcher Weber, also Luke Heyman, but Winslow still being able to stay consistent and continue to build those relationships, and that's another thing that can be hard for these catchers at times, but seemingly not missing a beat is Macon Winslow, and I think it always helps to have guys who are very centered and very anchored behind the plate, and Macon Winslow surely is that to make things for your pitcher a lot easier.
Winslow threw out Devin Taylor to end last inning. The 2-2 on the outside corner, got him looking. Cooper McGrath paints the outside corner with an off-speed pitch as Timo Becerra has gone down on strikes for the second time today.
Yeah, it had been a frustrating day at the plate for him, but that was just a perfect pitch from Cooper McGrath, low and inside on the slider. It looks like it's going to dip beneath the zone the entire way in, but it stays up there and is able to get a piece of the outside corner. And you have to assume that Macon Winslow, being able to frame that really well on the low and outside corner, has to have an impact on that one being a called strike 3.
So now it's Nolan Araki, who's 1 for 1 today, has reached in both of his plate appearances, worked a walk last inning, singled back in the second. Comes up here with 2 outs. The 1-0 pitch misses for ball 2. So McGrath hopped up off the mound. Advincula, after his second hit today, leads off first. Jaron Advincula now 5 for 13 against Harwich this season. With 4 runs, 2 RBIs. Fakes heading to second. McGrath can't find the strike zone again as he falls behind Araki 3-0. Araki reached 3 times yesterday. In the 10-5 victory against Brewster, was 2 for 3. Also worked a walk in that game as the 3-0 from McGrath looked at for strike 1. McGrath looking to shut down the Cotuit hitters after they scored 3 runs just an inning ago as the Mariners looking to play with a lead. So they were trailing 1-0 after the first 3 innings, put up 2 runs in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, and then 3 in the 6th. As a pickoff move fired back to first, Advincula dives back in safely. First baseman Matt Scannell couldn't come up with that baseball.
Would have been a close play, too. Advincula was creeping into his secondary lead there and was slightly slow on the slide getting back into first, but He's been aggressive on the pass. Let's see if he decides to take off.
The 3-1 misses low and outside for ball 4, so it's the second consecutive plate appearance for Nolan Araki with a walk. So he reaches, and now there's runners on first and second, still with 2 gone.
Well, you look at the bottom of the lineup, and you want to see some production there, and getting hits from the bottom 4th is incredibly important. Just 3 hits so far today. 2 belong to Advincula and 1 to Naraki, but still being able to reach base at a high clip is something that they've done well. It's just a matter of getting the top half going, and with 2 outs in this inning, it's going to fall back on Grant Jay, who has struggled at the plate, but we know that this could be a perfect opportunity for him to break out of that slump and get the Kettleers back into this ball game, for which they're down 2.
Jay 0 for 1 today. Has just 10 hits and 68 at-bats this summer, but comes up in a big spot with runners on first and second. Cotuit trailing 6-4 here in the bottom of the 6th. Jay so far popped up to Daniel Dickinson at short and worked a walk just an inning ago. Came in to score as well. After the fielding miscue by Daniel Dickinson, as Devin Taylor hit that ball right back up the middle, as McGrath falls behind on the count, 1-0 after the long mound visit. The righty takes a look back at Vincula, now comes home with the 1-0, waved on and missed by Jay as the count evened up at 1-1. Jay crushed one of his 3 home runs this season against Harwich the last time these 2 teams squared off on July 2nd. The 1-1. Looked at for a called strike 2 as Jay falls behind on the count 1-2. Grant Jay has worked on cutting down the strikeouts a lot with Mike Roberts this season, looking to avoid a punch out here in a big spot. The 1-2 got him swinging. Cooper McGrath strands runners on first and second, dancing in and out of trouble, stranding Jaron Advincula off second and Nolan Araki off first after his second punch out this inning, as Grant Jay falls back to 0 for 2. And before we take a quick commercial break, we'll bring on Adele Huffman, who has more.
Thanks, Alex and Joe. I'm down here with Patrick Biondi, who played for the Kettleers in 2011 and 2012 and had quite the record. Patrick, I saw you standing out there with your host mom. How special is the bond that a player can make with their host family during the summer?
I mean, it's pretty awesome. I was lucky to have 2 awesome host families, staying with one of them, and it's like no time's passed. So to come back after 12 years and be able to spend a week with them is a pretty special thing, and they're pretty phenomenal people.
And what was your favorite part about playing in a summer ball league like the Cape Cod League?
I mean, I think it's a combination. Obviously, you see the fans and the whole town, city is behind you. And then you're playing against the best players in the country. So you get that opportunity to show what you can do and to get challenged by the best players.
And what's it like coming back to watch this team play?
It's pretty awesome. Got to hang out with them a little bit before the game. Got to talk and hang out with Coach Roberts and just kind of help some of those guys that are going on the same journey I went down and maybe share some things that helped me along the way.
And what do you think of the field? It's pretty new this year.
Everything looks beautiful. I mean, we got new stands, new playing surface, so it's always been a great venue with all the trees and just the beauty around, but they've done a great job with everything.
Well, thanks for coming back, Patrick. I know we're all glad you're here. We'll send it back up to the broadcast with Joe and Alex. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Adele. Excellent work as always, and always cool to see a former Kettleer, Patrick Biondi, coming back and reflecting on his great days as a Kettleer. Just really cool to see, and that's something that we've seen a lot this year, where former players coming back here to Lowell Park and sharing their moments, and always good to see their former host families, and even a guy like Mike Roberts.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest part, too, is coming back and seeing the host families and seeing that they've been doing this for so long. You know, there's not a lot of consistencies when you look at the Cape Cod Baseball League. So many different players coming in here year in and year out, week in and week out. Different interns every single year, but one thing that is constant, it's the baseball, it's the baseball and it's the people who are around here and in the village and in the community of Cotuit. And so when people are able to come back and reconvene with their host families, get to experience maybe some of the joy that they experienced when they were here whenever summer they were here, but it's just always great to see, and hopefully we can hear a bit more from Patrick Biondi before we take off today.
Leading things off here in the top of the 7th is Aiden Robbins. Biondi, a guy who played 2 seasons for Cotuit, 2011 and 2012. So played for the University of Michigan. Went on to be selected by the Detroit Tigers in the 35th round, then later the New York Mets in the 9th round of the 2013 MLB draft, as Robbins goes the opposite way, hits a high-towering fly ball in a straightaway right field. Making the grab for the first out is Devin Taylor. So Robbins, after starting the day 2 for 2, falls back to 2 for 4.
Yeah, Biondi won the batting title that year in 2012 and went on to be inducted into the Cape League Hall of Fame class of 2022. So it was great to be able to talk with him a couple of years ago when he got that nomination, and just a guy who's gone on to do some pretty cool things after his baseball career ended that we'll get into when we talk to him next inning.
Revealed the big surprise that we're going to keep it a secret. No fun, Joe.
I'm sorry. I spoiled it.
1-0 is the count against Macon Winslow. I'm excited to talk to Patrick Biondi. It is super cool to have him down on sidelines with Adele Huffman and then come up to the broadcast booth as the count evened up at 1-1.
It's just great to see the relationships that Mike Roberts is able to develop with players and to maintain those relationships even beyond when their playing days are over. So Patrick Biondi, another example of that. And yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, we would have given it away at some point.
I think we would have, but I like that you spoiled it now. Get everyone ready for big interview that we have going on later. Winslow down to the count 1-2. He's 1 for 3 today. Had an RBI double in his second at-bat. Also popped up to Nolan Araki and grounded out to Timo Becerra. As he goes down on strikes here, he now falls back to 0 for 2 and 2 quick outs for Cullen McKay.
Yeah, nice job by McKay. Been really efficient. That's really what the Kettleers want him to come into ball games and do. But walked the first batter he faced, gave up a couple of hits, and where Harwich, was able to take a 6-4 lead in that 6th inning. But it was good to see him work his way out of it, and now up to 3 strikeouts on the outing.
Now that brings up Sam McNulty. First pitch, a high looping breaking ball that he waves through and misses. McKay has gone an inning and a third, coming in relief of Max Martzoff, the 5th pitcher used for the Kettleers today. He's gone an inning and a third, allowed 2 hits, 1 run, walked a batter, and struck out 3 as this one line, and that'll dunk down in the left field in front of Brandon Compton. So McNulty reaches for the 3rd time today, picks up his 2nd hit as he's now 2 for 3.
Yeah, great day at the plate for Sam McNulty, who, when you look at some guys on this Harwich roster, a lot of guys aren't in there day in and day out, and Sam McNulty is one of them, but likely buying himself a couple more starts at third base with this great day at the plate today.
So now it's the shortstop, Daniel Dickinson, for the first offering to him, a pickoff move that McNulty diving back in safely. Dickinson reached for the first time just an inning ago. Worked a walk and later came around to score. Pitch in the dirt, a throw back from Jay. Throw is not in time as McNulty barely getting a hand back in on the first base bag. A quick throw from Jay. Seen that twice today, the back throw from Grant Jay, but McNulty back in safely.
Yeah, he just snapped that to first. 2nd time today we saw that, and he thought he had him. Just a great seed from Grant Jay, who has an awesome arm behind home plate. He just hasn't had too many opportunities to unleash it.
Threw out Aiden Robbins earlier in the game as Dickinson lays down a bunt. Fielding it is McKay. Slips, kicks off of his cleat. So Dickinson will reach as Harwich now has runners on 1st and 2nd. So Dickinson's on for the 2nd time today, and just a perfectly executed bunt.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of times it's not about how hard you put the ball in play, just where you put it in play and making the infield make a mistake. Not really easy to call that a mistake from Cullen McKay, who took a divot out of the grass there on the left side of the infield, but looks like he's all right, fell on the seat of his pants, and you know, you like the reaction time from him off the mound, who was quickly scurrying over to get that baseball and would have had a chance at first, but no damage done, just trying to get Dickinson to end this frame.
So it goes down as a hit. Dickinson now 1 for 3 as head back to the top of the Harwich order. It's Cam Maldonado who digs in for the 5th time today. 2 for 3. Struck out swinging in his first at-bat. Ever since then has reached in all 3 plate appearances with a single, a home run, and a walk. 1-0 is the count on him. McKay comes home. Called strike 1 on the looping breaking ball to even the count up at 1-1. Maldonado has scored in the last 2 innings. Just a prototypical leadoff hitter for Harwich, a guy that offers a lot of pop, hits a high towering pop-up that gets out of play into the visitors' grandstand, kicks off the bleachers and roll down. A couple of kids race for that ball. So after the foul ball, the count goes to 1-2 against Maldonado. McNulty leads off second, Dickinson off first. 2 gone in the inning. The 1-2 pitch. Maldonado goes the opposite way. Taylor has to run a long way for this ball. He will look up and make the running grab, crashing into the fence. What a play by Devin Taylor, tracking that ball as Cam Maldonado hit it the opposite way, gave that ball a ride, but Devin Taylor making the running grab, crashing into the fence for the 3rd and final out of the inning as Cullen McKay works in and out of trouble, allows two out singles, and a long fly ball to Devin Taylor in right field. As the score remains 6-4 after 6.5 innings of play from Lowell Park. We'll step aside for a quick break.
The O'Rourke family has been catering Cape Cod clam bakes, making your events delicious and memorable. Founded by Jake O'Rourke, Jake's Clam Bakes has become a beloved tradition, now carried on by his son, Dan. Choose from our menu options, and on the day of your clam bake, their crew will come to your site and steam a fresh, mouth-watering clam bake just for you. It's that easy. Call us at 833-252-6285 or visit our new takeout location at Building 6 on 3821 Route 28 in Marston's Mills. Email us at dan@jakesclambakes.com with your event details, number of guests, date, time, location, and any special requests like a raw bar, homemade desserts, or kids menu. Not catering? Try their takeout menu featuring lobster rolls, smash burgers, salads, sandwiches, and a smoothie bar. Jake's Clam Bakes, making Cape Cod gatherings unforgettable.
With 30-plus years of personal injury litigation and insurance negotiation experience, Snow Law Firm is your go-to for wrongful injuries and rightful compensation. Snow Law Firm will secure the maximum amount of compensation available through settlement or trial. Schedule a free case evaluation by calling 508-477-7100.
6-4 your score here from Lowell Park as a look inside the Kettleer dugout at Devin Taylor, who's taking a much-needed rest after running a long way, making a fantastic grab in right field to end that top of the 7, stranding runners on first and second. Taylor set to hit 4th in this inning, so if one of Tanner Thatch, Easton Winfield, or Brandon Compton can reach base, Taylor coming up to hit for the 4th time today as the first pitch to Thatch looked at for strike 1. Thatch so far today 1 for 3. Struck out in the first, flew out in the 3rd, and singled in the 5th, a slow chopper that just goes foul. Winslow touches that ball foul. So the count goes to 0-2 against Thatch. Looked like Winslow just let that ball roll foul, and interesting decision is letting Cooper McGrath throw another pitch against Tanner Thatch, who especially is dominant against righties.
Yeah, he is. All 8 of his home runs this season coming against right-handed pitching, and he hits below 175 against lefties. So, yeah, it's a good point that you bring up. Let's see if he can make him pay.
The 0-2 pops off the glove of Winslow, heads back to the backstop. So Thatch will see another pitch as the count goes to 1-2. Thatch hitting .282 so far this summer. The 1-2 from McGrath. Thatch rockets that fair down the right field line. Over the glove of Matt Scannell. That'll roll into right field. Cam Maldonado slips as Tanner Thatch will slide in safely with a leadoff double. And just like that, one swing of the bat, and Cotuit has a runner in scoring position.
Well, right on cue, Tanner Thatch rockets that ball over the first baseman, barely tucks it down the right field line, and it could have been a close play at second had Cam Maldonado not slipped there, as you mentioned, and he's able to slide in safely at second. So after starting off the game 0 for 2, maybe it appeared that Tanner Thatch's success at the plate might be running out. No, he responds with 2 straight base knocks in the 5th and now in the 7th inning, and a massive chance here for the Kettleers and the top of this lineup to get things going, try to climb their way back into this ball game down 2.
So now that brings up Easton Winfield, who swings at the first pitch, fouls that straight back into the parking lot. It's been a tough day for Winfield so far, 0 for 3. With a ground out, a hard line out to Sam McNulty at third. That coming in the 3rd inning, and a pop-up to Macon Winslow. That coming with the bases loaded just 2 innings ago. This pitch spiked in the dirt, gets away from Winslow, goes right back to Cooper McGrath out on the mound, but advancing to third is Tanner Thatch as that took a wicked bounce off the catching equipment of Winslow as Thatch moves up 90 feet and stands at third. Cotuit still trailing by 2.
Well, that makes things a bit easier to try to score Thatch from third. All you really need is something on the ground to the right side.
The 1-1, high fastball that Winfield thought about swinging but wisely lays off. So the count now goes to 2-1. Against the slugger who is transferring from Louisiana Monroe to Texas. Got off to a really hot start in Cotuit as another foul ball goes right over our heads. Back into the parking lot. Winfield has a home run this season, 3 RBIs, also has 3 doubles. So 4 of his 9 hits have gone for extra bases. Looking for hit number 10 here. The 2-2 from McGrath. Breaking ball that's taken outside for ball 3. So Winfield works the count full here. Cotuit scored 1 run in the 2nd, 3 in the 5th. The payoff pitch spoiled again by Winfield as he lines that hard on the fence. 6 pitches so far between McGrath and Winfield. As Easton Winfield doing everything he can just to stay alive in this at-bat. The tall righty comes home with the payoff pitch. Got him looking. Went with the off-speed pitch and freezes Winfield as he's set down for the 4th time today.
Well, it's been that kind of day for Easton Winfield. It was that kind of day yesterday. Now 0 for his last 9 at the plate, and that one there. Able to enter in on the back door for McGrath and get him rung up for strikes.
So now that brings up Brandon Compton, who looks at a first pitch ball. Compton still yet to record an official at-bat today. This being his 4th plate appearance. Has walked twice, also had a sac fly. That plated Nolan Naraki in the 5th as Compton hits this one hard on the ground to the first baseman, Scannell. He'll take it to the bag himself, but racing home to score Cotuit's 5th run is Tanner Thatch. As the Kettleers trail by just a run, it's now 6-5 after the 2nd RBI from Brandon Compton.
Yeah, Tanner Thatch already with 1 RBI today, tying Brandon Compton earlier on in this ball game, but now Compton with 2 RBIs. Continues to climb the leaderboards in the CCBL standings for the most RBIs, and a guy who leads this team in RBIs continues that right there. And again, he's not trying to do too much. You mentioned it. He doesn't even have any hits in this ball game, but he still has 2 driven in.
28 RBIs for Brandon Compton. The count evened up at 1-1 to Taylor, who made a long running grab in deep right field just an inning ago. McGrath deals this one a chopper right back to Scannell over there at first, who makes the grab and takes it to the bag himself for another 3 unassisted, but not before Cotuit puts on another run as they make it a 6-5 ball game after the RBI ground out by Brandon Compton. So we'll step aside from Lowell Park. Harwich still leading Cotuit 6-5.
Need to be seen for a minor illness or injury? Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care is here for you with high-quality, full-service walk-in care. ER expertise meets urgent care convenience at our 6 urgent care centers, which are staffed by board-certified ER providers and located Cape-wide from Falmouth to Orleans. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care is open daily and offers a cost-saving option for everything from sprains to stitches, with timely treatment in under an hour for most patients. View online wait times at capecodhealth.org/urgent care. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care. Minor emergencies, major attention.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Top of the 8th from Lowell Park. Harwich leading Cotuit 6-5. I'm Alex Rocco, joined alongside by Joe Pratt, and a special guest here in the broadcast booth, Patrick Biondi. You heard him just a couple of innings ago talking to Adele Huffman, and super happy that we have you joining the broadcast, Patrick.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And of course, you have littered career here in Cotuit, played 2 seasons, won a batting title with the Kettleers. How special is it to come back here?
I mean, it's awesome being back, just to be around, be with my host family again, to get to see Coach Roberts, and then to get to hang out with the team and kind of talk to some of the guys going through what I went through 10, 12 years ago, and just be able to help them in any way I can.
And what does Coach Roberts mean to you?
Oh, Coach Roberts was awesome. He gave me an opportunity 2 years in a row to play. And then on a personal level, we really connected, and he challenged me a little bit, but also gave me an opportunity to come back after struggling that first year. So he meant a lot to me in my career in that way. He helped me a lot as a base stealer, as a hitter, so he meant a lot to me.
Roberts, it's something that he does super well is, bringing guys up here and improving upon their skills. He always says polish your skills, but also being able to work through him personally and kind of knowing that personal connection with him. What has that been like?
It's been great. We talked, especially the second year that I played out here, we all recognized just how much Coach Roberts cared and how much he puts into it. And so I think we all really appreciated just the work that he puts in. Even today, he's thrown to every group in BP. He's here at noon. And so, having a coach that is willing to do whatever he can to help his players means a lot.
Jack O'Malley, the new arm into the game for Cotuit, facing Aiden Hill, who's 2 for 4 today. And O'Malley gets ahead of him 0-2.
You were inducted into the Cape League Hall of Fame 2 years ago. Just what was it like to get that call knowing that you're going to join such an elite group of baseball players?
I mean, it's kind of surreal, to be honest with you, because even the class that I went in with, Ian Happ, Stroman, Wagner, you had just Justin Smoke, a bunch of big league all-stars, big league Hall of Fame type players. So to be in that group was a pretty special thing, and I'm just really appreciative of what I was able to be a part of while I was here, and it's cool to be recognized for that.
What were some of the moments that were leading up to it? What was it like when you first received that call that you were going into the Hall of Fame?
A pretty special moment. I think Bruce actually called me before I talked to Coach Roberts, if I recall. And, a little bit surprised, but also, just like we were just talking about, just honored and humbled to be a part of a great group of ball players. You have some of the best players that have played the game, and to be part of that group is pretty cool.
Now, you were here in 2011 and in 2012. What were some of the things that you went through in 2011 that really made you want to come back the next summer?
So I struggled big time in 2011, and I had some moments and made some plays, but overall I didn't play very well at all. And so for me, I actually had opportunities to go and play in YD and a couple other places, and it just, to me, I felt like I needed to come back to Cotuit and to kind of get through or get over that hump from the year before. So it was an awesome summer and just like the perfect storm of everything coming together.
The payoff pitch taken for ball 4 from Jack O'Malley. So Aiden Hill reaches for the 3rd time today as he leads off the top of the 8th with a walk.
Coach Roberts not going to be happy with all the walks right now.
Yeah, I started him off 0-2, right? Fell back in that count. Aiden Hill, a great day at the plate, especially after starting off with a couple of ground outs, one big double play that ended the 3rd inning. But this is an interesting conversation right here, right between the home plate umpire. Looks like the pitch comm is not working again, so that's obviously something that's been changed throughout your MLB career, or excuse me, your MILB career and also summer ball career. But what are some of your thoughts on the changes of this game?
I think the game's always going to evolve, and so we have TrackMan everywhere now, so it's awesome in some regards. You get a little bit clearer picture of where you're at from a number standpoint, and I think there's value in that. I think sometimes as players that can get in the way, where you're hyper-fixating on the mechanics or the video or the numbers, and maybe getting away from the heart of the game and competing in the approach part of it. So, I don't know. I think there's trade-offs. I think Coach Roberts and I were talking about this earlier, too. I think maybe some of the baseball instinct goes away in favor of just putting up certain numbers. And I think it'll be a balance. I think the game will kind of go back and forth with that.
Cade Curlin digging in for the 5th time today. Just another one of these Harwich Mariners that having a lot of success so far at the dish. He's 2 for 3. As this pitch gets behind the catcher, Grant J. Staying put at first base is Aiden Hill. Like he didn't get a clear read of that wild pitch that avoided the glove of Grant J. And Patrick, I have to ask. I go to Penn State myself. You're a fellow member of the Big Ten going to Michigan. How cool was it to play in Ann Arbor?
It was great. I mean, Ann Arbor is a great place. Anytime I go back, just like coming back here, like just a lot of good memories and an awesome place to be. Penn State's not bad either.
That was kind of leading in my next question. What was your favorite place to play outside of Ann Arbor?
In the Big Ten?
Yeah.
Penn State, honestly, is one of the cooler places. Bloomington was pretty cool. Indiana. First season we played, actually 2 of the years, we played Minnesota at the old Metrodome, so that was kind of cool.
A couple of Indiana Hoosiers on this Cotuit roster. Devin Taylor out in right field. Tyler Cerny, who didn't make the start today at shortstop, but a 2nd consecutive walk issued by Jack O'Malley as Cade Curlin reaches. So the Mariners have runners on 1st and 2nd, and Mike Roberts coming out to the mound.
Did you hit the ceiling in the Metrodome?
I didn't hit the ceiling. I did. There was one ball that I kind of lost for a second and then had to kind of make a basket catch like over the shoulder like that. But for the most part, it wasn't too bad tracking the ball.
That must have been tough. Just tough to read a ball, especially in the Metrodome, and played a couple of games back there. I know my freshman year, Penn State played a game in the Metrodome, and just talking to some of the players, how cool was it to play in a venue like that?
It was cool. I think the only weird part about playing there is it's so big and there's really no one there, so it's just kind of empty, echoing. But it was fun. I always enjoyed playing there.
So the mound visit is over. O'Malley staying in the game and working against the cleanup man in the Harwich order, Matt Scannell, who's 1 for 4, has a pair of RBIs, those coming in the 3-run 6th inning at a 2 RBI single. As the first offering in the dirt kept in front by Jay.
Now this is a situation that we see so much. Runners on 1st and 2nd, nobody out. I know a guy who swings the bat as well as Matt Scannell at the plate. Maybe you don't want to bunt here, but I know Mike Roberts always going for the small ball tactics. Just in your eyes, what do you see from a situation like this?
I think a lot of it just depends on who you have at the plate, so I don't know a ton about Harwich's team. I think this might be one of the middle of the order guys. I think they're at 3 or 4 right now. But So I think you're probably going to let your middle of the order guy hit. They're up right now, so just kind of trying to add on. Maybe not going to give up and out late in the game.
Was it easy to buy into that coaching philosophy for Mike Roberts?
For me, it was. I mean, that was the type of player I was. Small ball, run. So everything that Coach Roberts kind of stands for and is known for was what I was trying to develop in my game. So it was pretty easy for me to buy into that.
Two and one is the count against Scannell. O'Malley takes a look back at Hill, who leads off second, comes home. Foul tipped right into the home plate umpire. Ryan DeMarin, hopefully he's okay. Foul tipped right into DeMarin with a fist bump there. Appears to be okay.
Umpire's taking a beating today.
Might be target practice. Saw Mickey Garcia back all the way in, seemed like the first or second inning, take a hard line drive right off the ankle, and now Ryan DeMarin getting hit on that foul ball. Count evened up at 2-2 as Scannell throwing something out from just in front of home plate, but he steps back into the batter's box. Runners on first and second, still no out. Harwich leading Cotuit 6-5. O'Malley comes home, the 2-2 pitch. Other foul tip in and out of the glove of Grant J as Scannell stays alive.
What was maybe your favorite thing to do outside of baseball from away from Lowell Park, if you can remember, on your off days while you're up here?
I mean, I think the beach is always one of the go-to destinations, right? That's what I remember doing most when we were out here, when we had a little bit of time.
You have a favorite beach or a particular one that you always used to go to?
No, I can't remember what some of the names were. I remember going to one like around the corner from the field, but I also lived closer to Hyannisport my first year, so we would go to a beach down that way, and I forget what the name of the beach was.
Could have been Craigville, yeah.
Sounds right.
Dowses Beach, one of those two.
Can't really go wrong out here, right? There's a lot of beautiful beaches.
You also talked about earlier how much your host parents mean to you, and how cool is it to come back and spend a lot of valuable time with them?
It's great. I mean, I was lucky. I was here 2 years and had two different host families, and they were both awesome. So I think, part of it maybe was just being lucky and getting fortunate, but they're two people that I still talk to pretty regularly to this day, and it's pretty cool to be able to have that much time apart and then come back. There we go.
The 3-2 offering skied in the center field, making the running grab is Charles Davalon. So a big first out for Jack O'Malley, as that brings up Luke Heyman.
What has life been like after baseball's been over? What have you been able to get into? I know you've obviously taken some business endeavors personally, but also away from the game and maybe away from business. What have you gotten into personally?
So I'm still pretty heavily involved in the game. I coach and do baseball lessons. So after taking, 4 or 5 months away from it when I got done playing, kind of got back in and found that love, especially being around kids that are in it because they love playing the game again. So that was pretty cool. And then got into music and playing the guitar while I was playing and kind of continued to go down that road. Started doing a little jiu-jitsu, so just kind of dabbling in a lot of different stuff. Golf.
That's our favorite off-day activity.
Golfing?
Yep. It is.
I was talking to some, maybe we get out this week. You guys probably have to travel, though, huh?
We're on a stretch right now where we're about to play, well, we're not going to play, but the Kettleers are about to play 7 games in 6 days. So a lot of rainouts and a lot of maybe fog outs when you were here?
Yeah, we had one at Chatham, I believe.
Yep.
The 2-1 barely keeping it in front is Grant J. as Heyman up in the count 3-1. Really nice grab by Grant J. behind the dish.
Other guy has had to work really hard back there.
It got to be tough for him, too, with a lot of new pitchers that he probably hasn't seen.
The 3-1 Evades the glove of Jay, goes back to the backstop, but it's a walk for Lou Kamen, and now the bases are loaded for the Mariners, still with one out in the inning.
Yeah, I think that's something that is very beneficial for a lot of these players who are not playing with guys who they normally play with at school. Was that something that you found beneficial, being in the middle infield and having to work with and forge a new relationship with fellow infielders?
Yeah, I think, anytime you're playing in a new environment with a bunch of new people, I think a lot of it is just getting to know the guys. So there's like baseball parts of it too, of communicating and understanding where a guy likes to play, or different elements like that. But I think a lot of it is just getting comfortable with each other, and most of it comes off the field, either in between BP and the game, just hanging out, after games hanging out, and you start to develop those relationships and understand guys' personalities and what they like and don't like,
1-0 to Aiden Robbins, gets behind Grant J. Coming in is Aiden Hill. So after the wild pitch by Jack O'Malley, coming in to score is Hill, and the Mariners take a 7-5 lead.
I thought it might have hit the bat there of Robbins.
I think
a dead ball, but
I think it just tipped the catcher's glove. I think that might have been what you heard.
Harwich making a substitution on the base pass. Ryan Weingardner comes in as a pinch runner, replacing Lou Kamen. He stands on second. Moving up to third is Cade Kurland, as Hill comes in to score. So Harwich regains the 2-run advantage. They now lead 7-5 with Aiden Robbins digging in. Count is 1-1 against Robbins, who started off the day 2 for 2 and had a pair of long flyouts to Devin Taylor in right field.
Looks like Cotuit's going infield in here. Let's see if we can keep the ball in the infield.
In this situation, what are you looking for from the pitcher in terms of attacking Robbins right here?
Well, I think we've seen a lot of wild pitches the last 3-4, right? So I think first and foremost, you're trying to, as a hitter, I'm probably looking for a fastball here, knowing he doesn't want to spike another curveball. And then we're just hoping we can get weak contact and keep the ball out of the outfield.
O'Malley with 3 walks so far. The infield is in. Paints the outside corner with a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. So the count is 1-2 against Robbins.
Ready, center. Take center.
I think you might see him go back to that pitch here.
The 1-2.
There it
Hit
is.
right on the ground to Advincula at second. Looks the runner back at third. Makes the underhand flip in plenty of time. So an excellent play by Jaron Advincula. And now the 2 are gone here in the 8th.
Now, there was one situation earlier in this game. There were runners on second and third, and Devin Taylor was batting for us, and he was able to hit a single. That was right after Tanner Thatch at second base was kind of giving him some hand motions about, what pitch was coming next, because he figured out that the pitcher maybe would have been tipping his pitches at the time. Is that something that you bought in a lot to in terms of the game and that inter-game communication between your players?
It's definitely a part of the game. I think you just have to be careful as you're moving up levels. Like, if you're able to know that he's signaling pitches, then the other team probably knows too. So you just have to be careful that you're not getting a fastball in the ribs the next time up or something like that. So definitely a part of the game, but you try to be as subtle as you can.
I want to go back to something that you mentioned earlier. Some of your hobbies outside of the game of baseball. Playing the guitar, how did that come about, and what are some of your favorite songs to play? So this one hit in the right field. Devin Taylor making the running grab for the 3rd and final out of the inning. So Jack O'Malley works in and out of trouble, only surrendering 1 run as Aiden Hill came in to score, as Harwich still leading Cotuit 7-5 as we head to the bottom of the 8th here on the Kettleers Digital Network. And before we do, Patrick, thank you so much for spending some time with us and hopping on the broadcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was awesome.
Appreciate it,
Really
Patrick.
appreciate it.
Yep.
Discover a treasure of nearly 70,000 books at the Isaiah Thomas bookstore right here in Cotuit. Founded in 1969 and relocated to a restored 1860s Crocker family house in 1990. Their shop is a haven for book lovers of any age. Visit the Isaiah Thomas bookstore on 4632 Falmouth Road in Cotuit or contact at 428-2752.
Since 1995, MK Pasic Plumbing and Heating has been your trusted commercial and residential plumbing contractor in Massachusetts. They specialize in new and rehabilitation work, gas and pipe fitting, climate control, heating, HVAC, oil burner work, boiler installation, radiant heat, forced hot water, air conditioning, and duct and sheet metal fabrication services. Founded and owned by Michael Pasic, a team of 9 skilled professionals is dedicated to providing top quality service. MK Pasic Plumbing and Heating is registered with the Massachusetts Board of State Examiners of Plumbers and the Department of Public Safety. For all your plumbing and heating needs, contact MK Pasic Plumbing and Heating at 508-420-3429 or at 60 Clamshell Point Lane in Cotuit. MK Pasic Plumbing and Heating, proud sponsor of the Cotuit Kettleers.
The Cape Cod Baseball League is honoring those who served with Red Shirt Fridays. Every home team on Fridays wear red Cape League uniforms and an Army camouflaged hat. For every Friday game at Lowell Park, the Kettleers are honoring a hero of the game presented by the Massachusetts State Lottery. For exclusive Red Shirt Friday gear like fitted player hats, head to the Kettleers store at the ballpark. We hope you can join us for a Red Shirt Friday at Lowell Park this season.
For over 40 years, Vollmer & Son Construction has proudly served its community, providing a wide range of construction services, from bathroom renovations to complete home remodels. When you work with Vollmer & Son, you are being taken care of by natives of Cape Cod who support the community by using local suppliers and subcontractors. Vollmer & Son Construction, a proud sponsor of the Cotuit Kettleers. Bottom of the 8th here from Lowell Park. Charles Davalon set to lead things off. And such a cool moment having Patrick Biondi, a former Kettleer for the 2011 and 2012 season, on the broadcast as the first offering of Charles Davalon looked at for strike one. Kevin Zarnock, the new pitcher for Harwich, as Cooper McGrath's day is done. McGrath goes 2 innings, allows 2 hits, 1 run, walked 1, and struck out 3, as the count evened up at 1-1. Davalon today still looking to reach for the first time, takes a big cut out of the 81-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch and fans through it. Davalon 0 for 3. Grounded out back to the starter Justin Mitrovic and flew out to Cam Maldonado in right field and popped up to Sam McNulty over there at third. The 1-2 pitch spoiled by Davalon. It back into the fence as he stays alive here. Harwich looking to hold on to the 2-run advantage and pick up a crucial victory. What would be win number 14 of the season. Came into today with a 13-22 record. Cotuit 21-11-1. Zarnock attends UMass as the 2-2 to Davalon. Chopped on the ground to the second baseman Curlin, who fields and throws in time for the first out as Davalon falls back to 0 for 4.
Harwich eyeing that 14th win of the season, and obviously all you really need to do is get in, right? It's the same thing with pretty much any playoffs and pretty much any league, I think you could argue. If you get in, you have a chance, and that's pretty much just what Harwich is trying to do here, because there's that single-game elimination game, much similarly to the way that the wild card was in the MLB a few years ago, to where we'll play a single-game elimination game between the 1 and the 4 seed and then the 2 and the 3 seed, and that'll be followed by the championship of either division, which will be a 3-game series, and then the Cape League finale. The title series will also be 3 games, so shuffling up the playoff format this year as well as the regular season format, but it's going to be super exciting to see that one game and then see who's able to come out of it in the final 2 series.
1-1 is the count to Jaron Advincula. Certainly should be some high-intensity playoff matchups, and if all things, if the season ended today, Cotuit would be squaring off against Bourne right here at Lowell Park. Bourne 16-16-2. Got back to 500 with a win against Cotuit here at Lowell Park. As Advincula, the count is 1-2 against Zarnock. This is the righty's third appearance so far this summer. Has pitched in 4 innings, struck out 8 hitters, allowing just 1 walk and 1 hit. Struck out the side in his Cape League debut as Advincula hits this one up the middle. Dickinson fields, fires in time. Nice play by Dickinson over there at shortstop, robbing Advincula of what would have been his 3rd hit of the day, as he's now 2 for 4.
Yeah, you're right. Another great play by Daniel Dickinson, who I know we were talking about it earlier, a guy who struggled at the plate but done a great job in the infield, and we've seen why today, because he's made a lot of difficult plays. He's had to cover a lot of ground, that one there behind the second base bag, but he makes it look easy. And the hardest thing about that play is setting your feet and tossing a good ball to first base, and he's seemingly done that every single time.
First pitch strike in there to Timo Becerra. It's a good point that you mentioned about Dickinson. The error that he committed earlier in this game in the 5th inning, just his 2nd fielding error so far this season. Dickinson heading to LSU, so certainly should help the Tigers' defense. Count even up at 1-1 to Becerra, who's looking to reach for the first time today. 0 for 3 with a pop-up to Matt Scannell at first in the 2nd, and a pair of strikeouts, 1 swinging in the 4th and 1 looking in the 6th. Coming up here in the 8th as the 1-1. Dotted on the outside corner, looked at for strike 2. As Kevin Zarnock just 1 strike away from working a 1-2-3 bottom of the 8th. The righty peers in, has the glove set at his belt. Kicks and deals the 1-2 pitch. Becerra stays alive.
But more on Daniel Dickinson, just a guy who has a great story, who didn't receive any D1 offers out of high school, and it was really just a coincidence as to why he fell on Utah Valley. Actually bumped into their head coach at a Circle K after a travel ball game. The rest was history from then on, and an incredible 2 years at Utah Valley where he was able to break some records there, and now taking his talents to LSU. So it's just been an incredible story to watch Daniel Dickinson progress through the ranks of college baseball.
Hit .363 this past season at Utah Valley. The 2-2 pitch, Becerra chops at it, stays alive. Also scored 73 runs. That led the conference. Littered with awards and records. Yep. Also swiped 32 bases, crushed 18 home runs, 53 RBIs. Just video game numbers for Danny Dickinson. Looking to have that similar success as he heads to the SEC with LSU. But a good battle brewing here between Zarnock and Becerra.
Yeah, it's been a frustrating day at the plate for Becerra. He's 0 for 3 and trying to work this count all the way up and just fishing for the pitch that he likes.
The 2-2 on the way. Becerra stays alive again, fouling that right off his front foot, falls down in a heap of pain. It appears just to shrug that off, limping on that left leg. But a 3rd consecutive foul ball for Timo Becerra. The 4th in this at-bat as he appears to be okay, as pitch number 9 about to be on the way from Zarnock. The righty got a pair of groundouts to begin the inning from Charles Davlon and Jaron Advincula, as the 2-2 Becerra got him swinging. Kevin Zarnock comes out of the bullpen and works a 1-2-3 bottom of the 8th as we head to the top of the 9th with Harwich leading Cotuit 7-5 from Lowell Park.
Escape the summer heat at Polar Cave Ice Cream Parlor, located on Route 28 in Mashpee, right at the Barnstable town line. Our creamy, homemade ice cream flavors will delight your taste buds. Plus, Kettleers kids get a free cone on home game days. Call us at 508-477-5553 or email info@polarcave.com to learn more. Come chill with us and experience the coolest treats on Cape Cod.
RCA Electric and Generators is dedicated to helping homeowners and building contractors select, purchase, install, and maintain the ideal generator for their specific needs. Since being founded by Randy Agnew in 1990, this Barnstable-based family-run business has grown its reputation by serving all of Cape Cod, the South Shore, and the South Coast. Get in touch today by reaching out to RCA at at 508-428-0449 or visit in person at 153 Commercial Street in Mashpee.
Willow Bend has been regarded as one of Cape Cod's and New England's premier private clubs and communities for over 25 years. Willow Bend is a family-friendly community right here in Cotuit. They strive for a fun and relaxed lifestyle with good times and good friends. Discover all that and more at Willow Bend.
Beautiful day for baseball, slowly coming to an end here at Lowell Park. 77 degrees and it's really nice skies as the sun continuing to set, as just reached over a 3-hour game here at Lowell Park as Jack O'Malley staying in the game for Cotuit. New catcher in the contest for the Kettleers, it's Matt Klein coming in. Grant Jaya was supposed to hit second in the bottom of the ninth, but should be Matt Klein.
Yeah, Klein with a great day at the plate last night, had 5 at-bats, knocked 2 hits, a couple of RBIs as well. So he's really been the better bat for the Kettleers so far this season. So not too confusing of a move by Mike Roberts, and it seems like everybody else in the field of play is the exact same as we've seen 1 through 9.
So here is the leadoff man, Sam McNulty. Had an excellent day at the dish as he hits this one on the ground to the second baseman at Vincula. Fields cleanly his throw in plenty of time to retire McNulty, as he's now 2 for 4. And Jack O'Malley picks up the first out here in the ninth. Now here is the shortstop, Daniel Dickinson. 1 for 3 on the day. Came around to score in the 6th inning where he walked. Also a shutout. Picked up his first hit on a bunt single back in the 7th inning. It was against Cullen McKay, who went an inning and 2/3, allowed 4 hits, 1 run, who walked the batter and struck out 3 as Dickinson, a slow chopper down the third base line. Naraki doesn't field that ball and lets it go foul as Rocky was running in on that and to juke the ball out.
Yeah, he did. It would have been a really tough play at first if he was able to field that baseball, and yeah, nice agility to get out of the way of that one. But you know, you really don't want to give a guy in Daniel Dickinson, who's been so effective through 2 years of college ball, you don't want to give him too many extra looks at the plate, but he'll make the slow walk back with this 1-1 count. But we were talking about it last inning, just the incredible years that he's been able to have at Utah Valley, and those coming to a close as he's headed to LSU, but record-breaking in a couple of years there, and it was really just off of a gut feeling by their head coach, Eddie Smith.
Dickinson pops this one up to Tanner Thatch in foul territory, who settles underneath it and makes the grab for the second out.
Eddie Smith, the coach of Utah Valley, said that Dickinson just impressed him, and he had that it factor, forced him to make the drive to one of Dickinson's high school games as a senior. And then after that game, Coach Smith went to a nearby Circle K after the game, trying to grab a snack before heading back home. But inside that Circle K was Daniel Dickinson, and needless to say, the rest is history. But at the time, he had just one offer, and he was already committed to Ottawa University, which is a small NAIA program in Phoenix, Arizona. So he was off, and boy, he has just blossomed into being an incredible college baseball player, but still trying to find some more productivity offensively here on the Cape.
A guy who certainly isn't lacking for offensive productivity is the man who has worked the count to 2-1. It's Cam Maldonado. He's 2 for 4 today. Blasted his 5th home run back in the 5th inning. Also scored on a walk in the 6th. Has a single, a strikeout, and a flyout to Devin Taylor in right field. Takes a healthy cut out of the 2-1 fastball from O'Malley. That evens the count up at 2-2.
Well, when you look at this team and you think about them trying to make a playoff run, these are the two, Danny Dickinson and Cam Maldonado, who really can step up and be those guys to push them into deep into the playoffs if they're trying to make a run and if they're able to get in. But, of course, a lot of work to be done in this next week.
Playing good baseball as of late are the Mariners, winners of their last 3. Looking to make it 4 and hold on to the 7-5 victory against Cotuit. The 2-2 spoiled again by Maldonado. And although they've scored 7 runs, they have struggled today with runners in scoring position, 4 for 16, and they've left 12 guys on base today.
Just incredible to think that they've been so productive offensively, but to still have those numbers, it just shows you that this team is figuring out ways to win games.
Slow chopper on the ground to Naraki, who fields cleanly his throw low, but Tanner Thatch makes the low grab for the 3rd and final out of the inning. So Jack O'Malley works a 1-2-3 top of the 9th, retiring Sam McNulty, Daniel Dickinson, and Cam Maldonado as we head to the bottom of the 9th, with Cotuit trailing Harwich by 2. Stay tuned for more here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Looking to connect with the right business? Zoom Info's got you covered. With a database of over 100 million company profiles, they provide top-notch data to boost sales and marketing growth. Since 2007, Zoom Info's B2B data quality has ensured that businesses have the best intelligence right at your fingertips. Discover more at zoominfo.com and see how you can get connected today.
Cape Cod Coffee is a proud sponsor of the Cotuit Kettleers. They offer breakfast and lunch, as well as indoor and outdoor dining. Check out Cape Cod Coffee at one of their 3 locations, on Route 130, at Mashpee Commons, and at Wareham Commons, or on their website at capecodcoffee.com.
When the unexpected happens, make sure you and your assets are insured appropriately. The agents at Leonard Insurance Agency can tailor coverage to meet your needs. Call 508-428-6921 to talk to their licensed agents today. For nearly 2 decades, Coastal Irrigation has proudly provided top-notch irrigation and landscape lighting services across Cape Cod. Starting with just a handful of customers in Cotuit, they now serve nearly all of the Cape. Upgrade your lawn care with their modern irrigation systems. No more dragging around hoses or worrying about watering while you're away. Their systems ensure your grass stays healthy and green effortlessly. Transform your home with Coastal Irrigation's landscape lighting services. Enhance your outdoor gatherings, improve safety, and boost curb appeal with their affordable, low-voltage lighting solutions. Illuminate your walkways and highlight architectural details to make your home shine. Contact Coastal Irrigation at 508-428-1529 or info@coastalirrigation.net.
8-9-1 due up for Cotuit here in the bottom of the 9th. Nolan Naraki, Grant J, and Tanner Thatch set to square off against Kevin Zarnock, who's back out on the mound for his 2nd inning of work in that 8th inning through 19 pitches, 14 strikes as Naraki swings at the first pitch, hits a towering pop-up just on the edge of the outfield grass. Making the grab is the shortstop Daniel Dickinson, so 1 pitch, 1 out, and Naraki is retired.
Yeah, you like the aggressiveness from Nolan Naraki, but it'll go down as the first time today that he's been retired. Was 1 for 1 going into that at-bat, worked 2 walks, scored a run earlier in this game, and for the first time today he has made an out, and it's likely the most important one so far, the first out of this bottom of the 9th.
Oh, it's Matt Klein, who came in the top of the 9th inning as a defensive substitution for Grant J. J was 0 for 2. Did score when he walked back in the 5th inning. But here is Klein, takes a healthy cut out of the off-speed pitch from Zarnock. Waves through and misses it to even the count up at 1-1. Klein, one of the most productive hitters in the Kettleer lineup, hitting .364 coming into today. Had another excellent day at the dish yesterday, where he tallied 3 hits, was 3 for 5, also scored twice. Now is up in the count, 2-1. Such a selfless player up at the dish, laid down a bunt. That loaded the bases where Jaron Advincula hit a 2 RBI double. Klein smokes this one on the ground. That'll get through into center field. So Matt Klein comes off the bench, picks up his first hit today. And Cotuit has a runner on first with the tying run digging in.
Great piece of hitting for Matt Klein, who's made a couple appearances as a pinch hitter so far this season for the Kettleers, improving to 2 for 5 in that category now, already with an RBI, already with a walk, and he serves as a crucial run for the Kettleers here, and it looks like they're going to keep him on the base paths, not going to go to a pinch runner here, but Tanner Thatch with the chance to keep this game going and keep the Kettleers' hopes alive.
A lot of speed on the Kettleers bench. Tyler Cerny, Nathan Hall, Luke Hansen. Cerny and Hall tied first and second on the team in stolen bases. So the count is 1-0 on Tanner Thatch. Started off the day 0 for 2. But as hits in his last 2 at-bats, a single and a double. As he goes the opposite way, that ball trailing, and that'll dunk down in front of the left fielder, Aiden Robbins. Motoring up to second is Matt Klein, as Tanner Thatch records his 3rd hit today. He's now 3 for 5, and Cotuit has runners on first and second.
That's one that Tanner Thatch likely was trying to pull down the line, but kind of gets it off the end of his bat. It twists into no man's land in between the infielder and outfielder there. It was Robbins and Dickinson. But that one just barely being able to bloop in for the single, and so now Easton Winfield, who has had a tough couple of days at the plate, has an opportunity to right his wrong.
Easton Winfield digging in, hasn't had a hit since July 21st in the game against YD. Swings at the first pitch, tips that off the glove of Winslow.
And now with an 0-1 count on Winfield, Mike Roberts pointed towards the first base bag. He's going to have somebody run for Tanner Thatch, and it will be Nathan Hall, as he just brought up.
Nathan Hall represents the game tying run, so he pinch runs for Tanner Thatch. But digging in is Easton Winfield, who comes up in a massive spot. Runners on first and second, 1 out. Winfield 0 for his last 15. Currently 0 for 4 today, as Zarnock can't find the zone on the 0-1 pitch. That's outside, evening the count up at 1-1. Winfield got off to such a tear to begin his Kettleer career. Had hits in 7 consecutive games. As he foul tips and stays alive here, as Winslow, the catcher, looks to be shaken up, as took the brunt of that foul ball.
Yeah, he did. One that was appearing to end low in the zone, so he was already kind of breaking into his block position and able to keep that in front, but it looked like it fouled off just above his knee guard, so right off the left thigh.
Matt Klein stands on second, Nathan Hall off first. The pitch to Winfield, spoiled as he stays alive with the count remaining at 1-2.
Well, it was a great start to the summer for Easton Winfield. Rode a 7-game hit streak, was batting .375, but going into this contest, 0 for his last 11, as you just mentioned, now 0 for 15, and no better time to get back into the swing of things for him at the plate.
Zarnock takes a look back at Klein, now comes home with the 1-2 pitch. A looping breaking ball in there for strike 3. Easton Winfield down on strikes for the 2nd consecutive at-bat, as he now falls back to 0 for 5. And now that brings up Brandon Compton, who's the final out.
Yeah, Winfield, it was the same pitch that got him the last time he was up, which was also a looking K, a breaking ball that entered in on the back door, dotted on the outer half, and he watches it go by. Really did not like that call, but it's just been a culmination of a couple of frustrating days for Easton Winfield.
Now it's Brandon Compton, the first offering from Zarnock. Misses off the plate for ball 1. Compton digging in for his 5th plate appearance today, just 0 for 1. Has 2 RBIs, had a sac fly and a ground out to the first baseman, Matt Scannell. His last 2 at-bats has also walked twice. As Klein dancing off second, the 1-0 pitch once again misses outside. So Compton up on the count, 2-0. That was a team lead, 28 RBIs. Has a couple of runners on, looking for his first hit to keep this game alive. Harwich leading Cotuit 7-5 here in the bottom of the 9th. There's 2 outs. The 2-0 pitch looked at for a called strike 1. The count goes to 2-1 against Compton.
Well, they've been keeping the ball low and outside all day on Brandon Compton. That one again called strike on the outer half.
Compton has 10 of his 28 RBIs against Harwich this season. The 2-1 in the dirt, kept in front by Winslow. really impressive block by the Duke standout catcher, keeping that ball in front and keeping Matt Klein and Nathan Hall at first and second.
Yeah, super important. If anything gets behind them and two runners get into scoring position, then likely all Compton needs is anything into the outfield, but he keeps runners on first and second.
The 3-1 to Compton, looking to demolish that ball and end the game with one swing. But he waves through and misses, and now the count is full. 3-2, 2 out. Harwich leading Cotuit 7-5. Klein leads off second, Hall off first. Zarnock has the glove set at his belt, takes a long look home, kicks and deals the pitch to Compton, who fouls the pitch right off the pole just to our left as he stays alive here.
Well, that's a pitch he could hit right there. Back to back. Low and inside in the plate, right in the zone that he's looking for. A couple of fastballs, and it'd be hard to believe if Zarnock is actually trying to place the baseball right there. It'd be interesting to see where Winslow lines up here.
Zarnock gets the sign. Now comes set. The payoff pitch to Compton. This one chopped on the ground to the second baseman, Cade Curlin, who fields and throws in time to get Brandon Compton for the third and final out as Harwich escapes Lowell Park with a 7-5 victory over the Kettleers.
Well, Harwich out hitting the Kettleers 13-7, and really tough to come away with any wins if you get out hit by that margin. But Brandon Compton received 3 fastballs down the heart of the plate to end that game, and he just missed a couple of them and then got over top this final one there to end this ball game. But the Kettleers were able to put the 2 runners, or the 2 tying runs, on base, what would have been, and it ends up being a 7-5 loss. So the Harwich Mariners credit this ball club. They have lost plenty of games in the month of July. They have the worst July record of any baseball team, but they have now won 4 straight here, and all of those games being decided by 3 or less runs. And a big reason for that right now has been their timely hitting, has been their bullpen pitching, and the Kettleers face that in full force tonight.
The bullpen just masterful work. So today they threw 5 innings, allowed 5 hits, but just 1 earned run by this Harwich bullpen, and just excellent work. And Joe, it really was the timely hitting, and it was the 4th through the 6th innings where the Harwich offense really came alive.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we saw in the last couple season series games against these guys, which is when the offense has come a lot in the 2nd, 3rd innings, 4th innings, and to the 6th inning. And so it was great to see again the Kettleers able to jump out in front of that bottom of the 2nd inning, but the offense just fell silent after that. They put up 3 in the bottom of the 5th, 1 in the 7th, and then it was really the Harwich bottom of the lineup and also the top of the lineup that got things going. And so I think when you look at the amount of production that you got 1 through 9 today for Steve Englert, you got to be really happy about that. And they hit 4 for 16 with runners in scoring position. That's really not a great mark when you look at it at the end of the day. So for them to still come away with the win, to pile on the amount of hits that they did, so many base runners in this game, this offense is only getting better and at a perfect time.
Harwich today 4 for 16, like you mentioned, with runners in scoring position. They left 12 guys on base. Usually when you leave so many runners on base, it's a recipe for disaster, but Harwich, despite that, still with 13 hits, 7 runs, they now pick up the 7-5 victory and improve to 14-22 on the year as Cotuit drops to 21, 12-1. And Joe, looking at this game from a Kettleer perspective, how demoralizing of a loss is it for Cotuit, where the offense really just fell flat?
Yeah, it did. I mean, 7 hits on the board. 3 of them belonged to Tanner Thatch. The other 2 belonged to Jaron Advincula. That only left 2 after that. It was Nolan Araki and then Matt Klein, a pinch hitter, didn't even get the start today. So I think when you look at this season series and you know that so many of the runs have come off of home runs, they didn't get any of those today. And this is an offense that hasn't been relying on the home run ball as much, as they haven't hit a home run here at Lowell Park since that was on July 19th against Wareham. That was a couple Fridays ago, and coincidentally, that was their last win at home. So for them to not be able to leave the yard, it forces you to try to pick up some wins in other ways, and the Kettleers just haven't been able to find ways to do so. Last night it was the timely hitting, last night it was the hitting, and it came in droves last night. But tonight it didn't really happen in that way, and that's just the game of baseball. But Mike Roberts and his crew will definitely have some things to talk about as we move in through the rest of the season, as we've talked about it so much. So much baseball is still yet to be played and just a week left.
Today was game 2 of an 8-game and 7-day stretch for Cotuit. But, Joe, another thing that really stands out when looking at the box score of this game, it's the pitching for Cotuit. Tyler O'Neill got the start. He went 3 2/3, allowed 7 hits, 2 earned runs, as Cotuit had 6 different pitchers in this game. All 6 arms allowed a run.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about it with Jimmy in the pregame show, saying how you want a lot of guys in the game in terms of the bullpen guys who are going to eat up innings, not going to run up their pitch counts too much, but mainly eating up innings is the biggest part of that. And when you have guys who come into the game, Dylan Hawanitz faced just one batter. Max Martzoff, his first appearance today, he only faced it was one batter and did give up an earned run off of that. So not having too many guys eat up innings today, and obviously it starts with the starter, Tyler O'Neill. He worked himself into that 4th inning, pitched, gave up a leadoff single, and then 2 quick outs, but then the 2-out production came alive for the Harwich Mariners. They put up 2 runs in the top of that 4th inning with 2 outs on the board. So if you're able to escape that 4th frame, who knows what the outcome of this game might be. But for Tyler O'Neill, that was the end of his day. Then you send things to Max Hansman, who was solid through his inning and a third of work, but they're just isn't much productivity from these arms in the bullpen that we saw maybe earlier on in July, maybe in June. But there's obviously some improvements to be made. A lot of these guys are just getting here for the first week, so there's that sort of adjustment period that maybe we're not taking into account. So a lot of guys are still adjusting. Some of the guys have already been here, but there are still some issues that continue to pop up in this final week of the season. It's not great to see, but of course they built themselves a good cushion with 21 wins.
And how challenging is that for these new relievers and especially the pitching staff for Cotuit? We talked about it earlier in the broadcast. Now over 40 pitchers used for the Kettleers this season, and how difficult is it for a pitching staff where guys are constantly getting added to the roster, leaving the roster, just to find a little bit of consistency?
I think one thing that sticks out is what Patrick Biondi was talking about. It's the relationship between the pitcher and catcher. That is such an important relationship, probably the most important in the entire game of baseball. I know there's the relationships between middle infielders and things like that, but pitchers and catchers, and having to throw to a guy who you've never thrown in a live game before is really difficult. And so I think that's why you get a lot of familiarity with guys up here in terms of bringing up Dallas Baptist pitchers like we saw to throw to Grant Jay. But having to forge those new relationships is something that, as young baseball players, these guys are going to have to work through. And so they're working through that right now. And when you see a team go through a lot of turnover at this point of the season, you could look at it as a bad thing, but you could also look at it as an opportunity to get better in some situations. But another thing on that, Alex, is this is a Harwich team on the other side that has not undergone that much turnover at all. That's something that they wanted to go through at the start of the season and say, hey, we want to keep more guys. We don't want to lose half of our roster to the draft. And not saying that Cotuit did that. It's just with the pitching staff, there's so much turnover that these relationships are having to be made in just 1 week. And then a week from now, Alex, we're going to be playing playoff games. And so if you don't have those relationships developed, that doesn't put your team in a good spot, but it does put a team like Harwich in a good spot because they have been developing those relationships throughout the entire month of July. Even despite that 1-16 stretch, you're winning as a team, and more for Harwich, they're losing as a team. And that oftentimes builds guys and brings guys closer together than anything could, any other way that it could happen. And so I think when you look at this team for the Kettleers, you just hope that they're able to not get burnt out in this next week. They're able to build on some of those relationships, and hopefully the pitching staff can figure things out from there.
And I like that point that you brought up about the consistency for this Harwich team. Looking back at the lineup from Game 1 of the season, Ryan Weingardner, he was used as a pinch runner today. He was the leadoff man for that game. Batting second was Daniel Dickinson, who played second in that game, now getting the start at shortstop today. Michael Anderson still with the team. He's been such a valuable hitter. Didn't play today, was available off the bench.
Which is amazing, right? Because he went 4 for 5 here on opening day.
Exactly. Hit a home run in that game, was 4 for 5 with 3 singles and a home run. He's had a lot of success against Cotuit this year. Batting behind him, the leadoff man, Cam Maldonado, Macon Winslow. Tommy Barth is still on this team. Just a boatload of players on this Mariner roster that's been here from Game 1 to July 30th.
Yeah, it has been, and I think that's a super important point to bring up because you look at Bourne the last 2 years. They've been able to go on to win 2 Cape League championships, and mainly doing it with guys who were there for most of the summer. And I think that Bourne is potentially a really scary team to face in the first round of the playoffs, because don't look now, but the Kettleers at the first place spot in the West Division, Bourne right now in the fourth place spot in the division. You don't want to have a rematch of last year in just one game. And for them, we were talking with their broadcasters at the start of the season saying how in late June they were really struggling, but asking them, hey, are there some more guys coming in to maybe improve this team? Are there guys from Team USA who are coming back? Really nobody. We were talking to Cam Manna, one of their broadcasters, and he said that this is pretty much the exact same team that you're going to see in late July. And I think that can be daunting at times, because if you don't kind of find a formula with the guys that you have and you're unable to win games, then you could have a chance to miss playoffs. But it's a Bourne team that if they're able to get in, and same with Harwich, they have so many guys who've been playing together all this time that they're probably two of the scariest teams to face in the playoffs.
Bourne not playing today, so they're off, along with Wareham. And taking a look at some scores around the league, Hyannis beating Falmouth 4-1. That game's in the bottom of the sixth. Chatham with a 6-0 advantage over Brewster. That game's in the top of the fourth. Harwich, of course, beating Cotuit 7-5. And YD taking down Orleans 4-3. So another win, the 22nd win of the year for YD, as they sit atop the East Division with a 22-10-3 record, as no other team in the East Division have reached 500 yet. But Harwich slowly and surely climbing up that, as they're now 14-22 this season.
Yeah, and Cotuit will try to win tomorrow night at Orleans. Of course, you're trying to win every baseball game, but for Harwich, these games become so much more important, and a win against Orleans tomorrow night would be huge for Harwich to give them that extra boost. And, of course, Cotuit beating Brewster last night, so they're helping Harwich in a couple of different ways already. Losing today's game, beating Brewster last night, and a win against Orleans tomorrow night would surely be the trifecta there. But Cotuit definitely going to be looking for some more solid pitching tomorrow night and some offense from 1 through 9 throughout.
More solid pitching. Mike Roberts currently talking things over with his pitching staff, and with Roberts in a long discussion with his pitching staff, we'll step aside for a quick commercial break.
Escape the summer heat at Polar Cave Ice Cream Parlor, located on Route 28 in Mashpee, right at the Barnstable town line. Our creamy, homemade ice cream flavors will delight your taste buds. Plus, Kettleers kids get a free comb on home game days. Call us at 508-477-5553 or email info@polarcave.com to learn more. Come chill with us and experience the coolest treats on Cape Cod.
RCA Electric and Generators is dedicated to helping homeowners and building contractors select, purchase, install, and maintain the ideal generator for their specific needs. Since being founded by Randy Agnew in 1990, this Barnstable-based family-run business has grown its reputation by serving all of Cape Cod, the South Shore, and the South Coast. Get in touch today by reaching out to RCA at 508-428-0449 or visit in person at 153 Commercial Street in Mashpee.
Willowbend has been regarded as one of Cape Cod's and New England's premier private clubs and communities for over 25 years. Willowbend is a family-friendly community right here in Cotuit. They strive for a fun and relaxed lifestyle with good times and good friends. Discover all that and more at Willowbend.
Cape Cod Baseball League is honoring those who served with Red Shirt Fridays. Every home team on Fridays wear red Cape League uniforms and an Army camouflaged hat. For every Friday game at Lowell Park, the Kettleers are honoring a hero of the game presented by the Massachusetts State Lottery. For exclusive Red Shirt Friday gear like fitted player hats, head to the Kettleers store at the ballpark. We hope you can join us for a Red Shirt Friday at Lowell Park this season.
For over 40 years, Vollmer & Son Construction has proudly served its community, providing a wide range of construction services, from bathroom renovations to complete home remodels. When you work with Vollmer & Son, you are being taken care of by natives of Cape Cod who support the community by using local suppliers and subcontractors. Vollmer & Son Construction, a proud sponsor of the Cotuit Kettleers.
Looking to connect with the right business? ZoomInfo's got you covered. With a database of over 100 million company profiles, they provide top-notch data to boost sales and marketing growth. Since 2007, ZoomInfo's B2B data quality has ensured that businesses have the best intelligence right at your fingertips. Discover more at zoominfo.com and see how you can get connected today. Construction is your go-to provider for all excavation, drainage, and waterworks services. On top of that, they offer landscape filling materials such as sand, native stone, gravel, shells, and more. Serving Cape Cod and the islands for 30 years, Bortolotti Construction is committed to serving its community. Visit at 45 Industry Road in Marston's Mills or call 508-771-9399.
Coastal Rentals is the place to go for professional landscape and construction equipment. Whether you need tools and equipment for commercial use or for your own projects, Coastal Rentals has what you need. Purchasing gear is also available. Check out Coastal Rentals today.
Cotuit Library. Since its founding in 1874, the Cotuit Library has served its community with an expansive collection that continues to grow. Their staff is dedicated to serving all ages, offering youth events weekly. The library has dozens of events scheduled throughout the summer, so be sure to head to the website at cotuitlibrary.org to see what's coming up next. The library is located right off Main Street. The Cotuit Library, a proud sponsor of the Kettleers.
Be a part of historic Lowell Park and support the Cotuit Kettleers by purchasing a paver engraved with your personal message to be placed in the new Walk of Champions. For more information, visit the Cotuit Kettleers website.
Cape Cod since 1988. Advanced Embroidery has garnered national awards in embroidery and screen printing. They offer screenings on golf shirts, Oxford shirts, jackets, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and bags. Advanced Embroidery will print your company's or team's logos anywhere. Thousands of satisfied customers can attest for Advanced Embroidery's attentive customer service, tight quality control, and quick turnaround time. They're open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday on 38 Plant Road in Hyannis.
Beacon Gardens is a full-service garden center right here in Mashpee. They sell a variety of landscaping materials and seasonal produce to both consumers and landscaping professionals around the Barnstable Village. Stop by and see all Beacon Gardens has to offer at 182 West Barnstable Road in Austerville.
The Kettleers baseball clinics are well underway in the summer of 2024, offering boys and girls ages 6 through 17 with the opportunity to learn from some of the most experienced coaches and some of the top college baseball players in the country with no prior.
Welcome back here inside Lowell Park, and now we'll send it down a field level with Adele Huffman, who's joined alongside by Mike Roberts.
Thanks, Alex and Joe. Yes, joined alongside by head coach Mike Roberts after a close loss.
Well, I did a very poor job of managing. The guys did a great job of competing, and we were in it to the last pitch. Yeah, we had a chance to get one in the gap or hit a home run, and so I'm really appreciative of that. They did a great job, but I admit I'm struggling handling our pitching staff right now because we have 10 new pitchers in the last 2 weeks, and we don't know them well, and I'm trying to figure out who fits what role. And today I didn't do a very good job with that, and I kind of hurt our club, but I really like the way that they always compete.
How important is it for all?
Well, it's important, but it's also important that we keep continuity because we've had really a competitive club the entire summer, and I'm concerned. It doesn't have to do with the ability level of anybody, but it's the cohesiveness of having new people on the mound. Your catchers don't know them because we hadn't had enough bullpens at all. Coaching staff doesn't know them, and we're just trying to figure out. So our goal this week, again, is just to build some continuity as the week goes through. We have a couple pitchers also out that have been sick this week, so we're missing a couple pitchers that may not pitch till the weekend, and so our depth is very small right now.
But Coach Jaron Avincula of the Sun, amazing, but that's
well, he's always battled. He battles and he battles and he battles, and I started to kid with him and tell him it was a wind-blown home run, but I didn't want to do that because I didn't hit many home runs in my career, and I wouldn't want anybody to do that to me, so I didn't say that. He hit it really well, and we're always happy for every player that's successful in the team when they're successful as a group, and Jaron's played maybe every game. I'm not sure he's missed a game, and that's pretty good in the summertime after playing 60 games plus in the spring. So he's battled, and I enjoy him being in the lineup every day.
Definitely an impressive player, Coach. Thank you. Tomorrow. Thank you. Be sure to tune in tomorrow away at Orleans, 6:30 p.m. This has been Adele Huffman at Lowell Park, and we'll see you tomorrow, Cotuit family.
Excellent work, Adele, and thanks to Mike Roberts, who was joined alongside by Adele Huffman, and great insight about Cotuit's pitching staff. And one of the points that we have been talking about a lot on the broadcast today, 10 new pitchers in the last 2 weeks for the Kettleers, and always it's just hard to build continuity that way.
It is, and I mean, Mike Roberts said it best right there that, you know, continuity is part of this league, and not having continuity or lack thereof, I guess, is also part of this league. And so I think when you have a lot of different guys who are leaving for very different reasons, sometimes it's personal reasons, sometimes they get calls from their coach and they just say, hey, you got to come home, you got to come back, and we don't want you pitching on the Cape anymore. And so that sometimes is the reality of the situation. So as any manager and as everybody else in this league, you got to adapt and you got to try to overcome the adversity, because it's not an easy league to be successful in because of the turnover. But you just have to know that every single team is going through it. It's just a matter of how many of those guys from the start of the season have been able to stay, and sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you don't. And for the Kettleers, they're trying to keep some of that continuity and bring in some more solid arms. But the continuity has been the same for the position players, and I think that's a big reason as to why you've seen such great consistency.
And, Joe, one final question before we wrap things up. Cotuit traveling to Orleans tomorrow and finishing out that season series. Orleans 12-22. Cotuit now 21-12-1. And how important is that game facing a struggling Firebird squad?
It's super important, and it's an even more important game for Orleans because they're trying to battle their way back into the 4th spot in the division. They're down in the 5 spot right now behind Brewster, but just one game behind Brewster, or is actually a half game behind Brewster, as they have a game in hand. But for the Kettleers, they're just going to try and go in there and do the exact same thing the last time they did at Orleans, which was get some really solid pitching, get a great bullpen performance, and obviously if you get some of those in a game, you should win it every single time. But they only won it 2-1 against Orleans last time. They've played some really close baseball games against Orleans to this point this season, so expect it to be a close one tomorrow night. Should be a good one for Mildred Park for the final time.
Well, that'll do it from Lowell Park as Harwich defeats Cotuit 7-5. For my broadcast partner, Joe Pratt. For our sideline reporter, Adele Huffman. For our production crew of Jimmy Shantulis and Cam Christie, I'm Alex Rocco. Thank you so much for spending part of your Tuesday evening with us. Harwich defeating Cotuit 7-5. We'll talk to you tomorrow from Orleans.